Good evening and welcome to the RCC pregame show as the RCC Tigers are in playoff action versus Mount Sac, and I'm joined now by their defensive superstar, Kobe Fitzgerald. How you doing tonight?
Good, how about you?
I'm great. Now, let's talk about this RCC season so far. You guys are on a magical run. I think 30 years ago, RCC was a national champ, and you guys are on pace to do that again.
Yeah, we're just taking it one game at a time right now. So focused on Mount Sac right now and see where that goes.
Now, there was all this big hubbub about this, the league championship versus Saddleback, and you guys went out and really took care of business. What happened to you guys?
We had a good game plan, and they're a good football team, so we might see them again. And we just kind of clicked on all sides of the ball, and we're just flying around on practice, really. It started in practice. That's where we focus on the game. The outcome of the game is going to be won or lost throughout practice. So we just really had a good week of practice, and it showed in the game.
Well, right now you lead the team in tackles, over 50 tackles on the season. You guys are ranked number one in the state, number one in the nation by JC Gridiron polls. You come from Servite High School. That's in the Trinity League. Yep. You're a sophomore, but when you came and played college football, was there a huge difference between the Trinity League and college football?
Not really, because once you get to Trinity League play, anyone can beat anyone at any given Friday. So same thing with college. You take a team lightly, they'll take the W for the game. So
now you played at Hillcrest, you played at Marietta Valley, you ended up at Servite. You're a local guy. What made you? How did you end up at Servite?
It's a good environment over there, and ultimately, it just brought out the best in me. You want to play at that high level and be ready for college.
Of course.
That's kind of what led me over there.
Now, what brought you to RCC? Was it Coach Kraft, or was it the winning tradition? Tell us a little bit how you ended up from Servite to RCC.
It's definitely proximity to home, first of all, but the tradition for sure. Took a visit, and they kind of showed me the environment, really blue-collar environment, and I feel like I fit in there, and they just helped me and help everyone become the best versions of themselves. So, yeah, the blue-collar environment for sure.
Now, I look at the roster, and it's peppered with guys from all across the world, not just the country, but they're all over the place. Yeah. I mean, is it like the UN in practice? Do you hear different languages or different dialects?
Nah, we like to joke around with the guys, but, they ultimately came here to get out to the next level because they know what kind of environment it is. So,
Now, being ranked number one, you guys have a huge bullseye on your back, but what has been the mantra of this RCC team from the very beginning to now? Has it been a national championship, been a state championship? What has been the ultimate goal for you guys?
Just becoming the best versions of ourselves. Coach Kraft's big on blocking out the noise, the number one rankings, you got targets on your back, all that nonsense. So we like to just focus on ourselves. Did we use the right technique each and every play, and how we can become better versions of ourselves. So.
Now, RCC, they always talk about the offense because they put up a lot of numbers. You got Irwin, you got Barledge, you got Kennedy, you've got a lot of weapons on that offensive side. But can you tell us a little bit about the defensive side? Tell us about some of your guys, some of your dudes that you play with that make this team so deadly on defense. I mean, you stopped Saddleback, who had Chance Nolan, a local guy, played at Paloma Valley High School. I mean, tell us about some of your defensive dudes.
Man, the DBs really clicked last game, and they kind of just played with confidence, and that confidence is built over seasons. So the DB's been clicking. We got Kue Olatoa, Zechariah Holyfield, all those linebackers, and we kind of just elevate each other's play, feed off each other's energy. I mean, got James Hansen in the center of the defense. I mean, so the D-line's taking care of business, the linebackers, and when we're all clicking, it's fun to play on Saturday.
Now, when you have offense and defense, and you talk about the season, undefeated, who gets more of the accolades in practice with the coaching staff? Is it the offense or the defensive guys?
We like to say the offense is pampered at practice because Coach Kraft's an offensive guy, but it goes hand in hand. We both go back and forth and kind of just play off each other's energy.
Now, you're a sophomore, and what are your future plans after leaving RCC?
I'm pushing any plans aside right now, focus on the season, and I'll evaluate that at the end of the season.
That's really good coach speak. I'm sure you've been taught well by your coaches to say those things, but honestly, what are your goals? Do you want to win that national championship or the state championship? Does that drive you?
Not really. Of course, that's an outcome that we want, but we want to be the best versions of ourselves, like we said, and just grow in all aspects of the game. So, I mean, of course, the outcome, it's like the sun sets in the day. That's going to be an outcome whether we win or lose, and that's going to be settled in practice. So
now, Coach Kraft has a storied history at Palomar, storied history at San Diego State, and he's really, really turned it around in the last decade at RCC. He's a little bit like Bill Belichick. We as reporters or guys that want to, he's hard to talk to. I mean, what's he like besides? I mean, we see him as one guy. What do you see him as?
Oh, for sure, the head man of the whole organization. I mean, he's very businesslike, and blue-collar environment is what he builds. So it's kind of like once you're at football practice, it's business time. Let's handle business.
So he's not. There's no funny thing you can say about Coach Kraft?
We have our fun with him, but when it's time to handle business, we handle business.
And talking about RCC, what has your experience been like there for the last couple of years?
So many relationships that we've built with our brothers. I mean, like, it's going to last for a lifetime. The things we go through at practice, like, we're literally crawling off the field at the end of practice because how hard it is, and that's something that helps build that bond. And so we just kind of have fun with it while we're there and just keep going from there every practice.
Now, you're playing against a very good Mount SAC team. In fact, if you talk about the programs in Southern California, for all time, Mount SAC has to be in that conversation. What are you guys going to do against this Mount SAC team, and what are you expecting from that offense?
I expect the offense to click like they did last week. They've really been in the groove lately, and we're really just going to focus on ourselves this week, focus on the bigger picture of growing in all aspects of the game, and just stick to our game plan.
Now, there's a possibility of 3 games left. Is that how it is?
Yeah.
So it's a Final Four in the Southern Cal and then a Final Four up in the Northern Cal. Is that the way they do it? Now, you have an opportunity to play Saddleback again, and it's really hard to beat somebody twice in a season.
Yeah.
I know you're looking towards that first game against Mount SAC, but in the back of your minds, do you guys think about that Saddleback game and what you could see them potentially again?
We're just really focused on the task at hand.
You're giving me all the same answers. Come on.
Nah.
You got to get some juice out of you here.
But if we do see him again, I feel like we'll be prepared and really going to work for that win in practice and work to be the best versions of ourselves.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a pleasure talking with you. We're going to have your game here in just a couple minutes, but we're looking forward to seeing RCC in the semifinals of the Southern section and hopefully moving on. So thank you very much. He's Kobe Fitzgerald, and I'm Jeff Gorham, and this has been The Coach's Perspective here on Riverside TV.
Welcome to Wheelock Stadium here in Riverside, California for an important football game tonight, and that might just be an understatement. I am Nick Rice, that is Jeff Gorham. We will hear from Brian Wilson in a moment on the sidelines. Another trip to the SCFA playoffs for both of these clubs, Riverside and Mount SAC. It seems whoever wants to win a state championship, it's either the Mounties or the Tigers.
I'll tell you what, you talk about these two programs. They're the two most storied programs in Southern California history. Mount SAC has state championship after state championship. Riverside, though, 30 years ago had a national championship, and they're working on their second one 30 years later.
Yeah, both of these clubs have really ripped the hearts out of each other over the last 8 meetings. Both have won 4 times, so it's been a hotly contested rivalry. The Tigers, though, come in at 10-0. They're looking like maybe the best team of the country.
I think they're the best team all around. I think this might be the best team Riverside City College has ever had. They have 2 great quarterbacks. They've got 8 great running backs. They have guys, dudes I should say, all over the field.
The Mounties look like a pretty good club as well, and they've got a commit at running back to UCLA and Rashad White.
I'll tell you, he is a phenomenal athlete. He could really pose some problems. We've seen RCC have problems with the run a few times into this year, but I'll tell you what, that potent offense is too much for this Mount SAC team.
Well, we'll see. The winner advances to the SCFA Championship. Kickoff coming up next. RCC 10-0, Mount San Antonio 7-3. Back in a moment. This is the Riverside TV Game of the Week. Welcome to Arthur and Wheelock Stadium in Riverside, California. A special night for football in the city of Riverside. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, and Brian Wilson. This is the SCFA playoffs as Mount San Antonio battles RCC. The Tigers won the toss and elected to receive. Riverside and Mount San Antonio And for more on this matchup, we are just about set to bring in the third member of our crew, and Brian Wilson just about 30 seconds from now. The playoffs is just about set to commence as the Tigers come into this football game ranked as the #1 team in the country. They are 10-0 and have trampled through the competition. We saw them in their last home game here. They completely ran over Orange Coast with a 70-point win. Just an incredible football team the Tigers pose, and it should be quite the matchup tonight. Jeff, what do you think of this football game and this team this year?
Well, I'll tell you what, watching this Riverside team, they have really improved since we saw them in week 1 to where they are now. I'll tell you, they have so many weapons, and these are the two most storied programs in all of Southern California history. Mount Sac has a number of state titles. Riverside looking for a new one and a new national championship 30 years apart.
Riverside, the 1989 national champions. If the Tigers run the table, they have potentially 3 games to go in the postseason. Then the Tigers would be represented as national champions of junior college football. Gabriel Dunkel is at the 25-yard line and is set to begin the SCFA playoffs. The winner of this game battles Saddleback and College of the Canyons next week in the SCFA championship. The playoffs are underway as the kickoff from Dunkel's a bit short, and it's reeled in on a hop just short of the 20-yard line. Thomas Kinslow returns and is stripped up at the 33.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've seen this team start off really well at times and start off really slow. Depending on the quarterback we see tonight, this really could be a special game. We've seen Jacob Barlich, who's really kind of came on the last week, was all by himself and threw an amazing ball game. But Irwin himself is also one of those guys.
Barlich is the quarterback. Here's Kinslow, the running back. It's a foot race, and he is chased at the 40 by John Tavis Walker. The Tigers, a great start to the playoffs. That's a first down run for Thomas Kinslow, the product out of Centennial.
Well, this is nothing new for this guy. He's played in so many big games playing at Centennial for the Evil Empire and Matt Logan at Centennial High School. But, man, what a great start to get going on the run game, because you know what? If they can establish a run game, he might be able, Jacob Barlich, that is, pick apart this defense by Mount Sac.
24-yard gallop on the previous play. Kinslow sweeps and is wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. The aforementioned Evil Empire of Centennial High School. Thomas Kinslow, a 3-year starter for the Huskies. He had over 2,000 yards and 36 touchdowns with Centennial over his illustrious career. Wearing number 8 is Thomas Kinslow, and this year he has been incredible. A 3-star product out of Corona. That run pushes him over 500 yards for the Tigers this year and 6 all-purpose touchdowns. And a great compliment back alongside the 2 signal callers for the Tigers this year.
Offense, number 54, 5-yard penalty, till second down.
And that's been the Achilles heel for this Tiger offense and defense, is they've been giving up so many penalty yards. And in a close game, especially in playoff situations, you can't have penalties.
Barlich off play action. His first playoff pass is complete to Reggie Retzlaff. And another former Husky runs out near the original line of scrimmage. In the last game Jacob Barlich played here at Wheelock Stadium, he was garnered the SCFA Offensive Player of the Week. 31 of 35, 463 yards, and 8 touchdowns. I mean, that's one for the record books.
That is a pretty good game, to say the least.
Barlich on second down completes the pass again to Retzlaff, and he is escorted. Tamon Faye-Malo, a freshman from Redlands East Valley High School across the way, makes the stop.
And it's really nice to see the Tigers attacking that sideline early. They're going to spread this defense out.
4th down and 8. Barlich unloads and finds the open Dylan Lawrence, who motors to the 23-yard line. 4th downs haven't haunted Tom Kraft. He is certainly more than able to go for it and put together a play like that. The Tigers, with a wide-open Lawrence, move the chains.
Well, I like it. The Tigers are going with a no huddle. They're going to play fast. They're going to get so many offensive plays in a short amount of time. That's what makes them so potent and dangerous.
The Tigers this year averaging just under 50 points a game. Kinslow, he slips through a small seam over the left guard and is tripped up short of the 10. The Mounties' Michael Johnson makes the stop.
So a great start here by the Tigers. Looking as much as the number one team in the nation can be, I guess.
Yes. It's, of course, their highest ranking since they won that national championship in 1989, but they have always been one of the best teams in junior college football under Tom Kraft. Handoff to Kinslow, who is tripped up at the 4. Excellent start to this game by that Riverside offense. They are a team that can throw the ball over the top, but Kinslow, as a bell cow, has been phenomenal.
He's one of those guys, he kind of plays like Reggie Bush. He can catch out of the backfield. I'll tell you, they have so many weapons, especially at that back position.
It's amazing that he didn't find his way to an NCAA school. Barledge pass incomplete. Isaiah Leith, the intended target.
You know, and they've had a lot from their backups. Jamon McGlory is one of those guys that played a lot of receiver last year, was a phenomenal running back at Arlington High School. He was great last week in that victory over Orange Coast. Or 2 weeks ago, I should say.
Right. Feels like just a day ago. The Tigers are back in the SCFA playoffs. Inside run to Kinslow, and he lowers his shoulders, getting wrapped up and spilled at around the 4-yard line as the freshman out of Corona. The Mounties' Eucharis Brown makes the stop for a club in Mount San Antonio that has been stout in stopping the run this year. They're one of the top teams in America in run defense, giving up about 100 yards on the ground a game. That's been a huge staple to that defense. Tigers keep Thomas Kinslow at running back. Anthony Rodriguez is the tight end for Riverside. On 1st and goal, Thomas Kinslow. Touchdown, Tigers. RCC marches and scores the first points of the playoffs.
How do you do, Mr. Kinslow? You are the star of this first 3+ minutes of this ball game.
The freshman scores his 6th rushing touchdown of the year. He can run outside and can also overpower a defense between the tackles, as we saw all different facets of his game on one scoring drive for RCC. His speed, his athleticism, his strength, and also his will on a 1st and goal. The Tigers marched the length of the field. A majority of that drive, Jeff, was dominated by Kinslow.
Yeah, and they really established a running game, and we know that Riverside can throw the ball through the air. We know Barledge, like you said, had 8 touchdowns last game. I'll tell you, man, this offense seems to be unstoppable, and they don't hold the ball for very long. Their defense really keeps the opponents on the field for a long time. Riverside, look at it. They score so quickly.
There's a look at that previous drive. Kinslow started it off with a 24-yard run. 2 quick throws from Retzlaff set up a 4th down for the Tigers. Then Kinslow puts them in position for points after they convert it with Lawrence. Then on 1st and goal from the 4, the freshman out of Corona scores his 7th all-purpose touchdown of the year. RCC 7-0. Just over 3 minutes into the game. Kickoff from Zach Servillas. And this soars into the end zone for a touchback. The Mounties have got a quarterback that has, over the course of this year, as just a freshman, Zach Rangel, he has impressed many in the Central Conference as being one of the top signal callers in that league. He has thrown for nearly 2,000 yards this year and 14 TDs. He's really quite an addition for this offense.
And I'll tell you what, quarterbacks have been coming out of Mount Sac for, I want to say, decades. I mean, it's been a quarterback factory. In fact, the head football coach at San Bernardino Valley College, Daniel Algadas, was the quarterbacks coach there for a number of years.
Oh, really?
Big-time products have come out of Mount Sac.
Rangel, yet another product. The freshman dumps it short and finds Brandon Quinones, who is wrestled out near the 1st down. It's a gain of 8.
The stop number 21 for Riverside.
Zach Rangel, the number 11, the quarterback of Mount San Antonio, is a true freshman from Stony Point, Texas. Inside run to Rashad White. We will hear quite a bit of his name in this football game. It's a 3-yard scamper and a first down for a commit to UCLA. And speaking during the week to James Cook, the assistant coach of RCC, he believes Rashad White, and the Mountie coaching staff as well believes, this is the best junior college running back in the state of California. He has proved it so far this year. 1st and 10 from their own 36 for the Mounties. Rangel back. Steps up, loads up and throws over the middle. The pass is intercepted. Picked off by Sean Dorso at the 45-yard line.
Boy, we have called his name all season long, Sean Dorso. An amazing acrobatic catch. In fact, almost thought he lost it and caught it off the ground, but look at the hands. Great catch.
Great job by our camera crew on Riverside TV as the transfer from Fresno State corrals his 6th interception of the year. The Tigers all season have been opportunistic, led in the secondary by Dorso, who is also a great return man. Barlage dumps the ball in the flat and finds the diving Dylan Lawrence, who has emerged this year. The youngster out of Los Alamitos dives to the 48. It's a gain of 5. A 5'8", 170-pound wide receiver was, as we see this run, gain about a yard to Jamon McGlory. Tiger receiver Dylan Lawrence, it's the story of quite a few players on both of these rosters. Maybe a bit too small, maybe not athletic enough to be on a Division I school, so they were overlooked. And they have flourished in this game and throughout this season.
Anytime you can get recruited by Coach Tom Kraft, you know that guy can play.
And RCC throughout the course of this year has sought attention from just about every major university in the country for the services of quite a few of these players. Kinslow on a 3rd down, he is stuffed at the 45-yard line. And Brown was one of the first Mounties in on the stop, a freshman out of Auburn, Washington, part of a defensive front which has shown some promise throughout the course of this opening quarter. The Tigers are forced to punt early in the first.
Yeah, I'm shocked Coach Kraft is elected to punt.
Right.
Just keep going.
They made a 4th and 8, but they bring out the punt unit on 4th and 1 at the Mountie 44-yard line. Glad you're with us. Winner of this game advances to the SCFA Championship to battle either Saddleback or College of the Canyons. And this punt bounces through the end zone. That is a 24-yard boot with no return. And for the game update, the winner of this game battles the winner of the one on the bottom ticker, the Gauchos of Saddleback, who were in that game last week at Mission Viejo High School, were stunned by the Tigers, yet they have turned it around early in the opening quarter.
I'll tell you what, they've got a great quarterback. Chance Nolan played his high school career just down the road at Paloma Valley. He's getting looks from a lot of Power 5 conferences.
The story of quite a few of these players out of that league. That was pegged to matchup between the top 2 teams in the South. Rangel with an excellent pass. Complete to Sean Bowden, who takes a tumble to the 45-yard line. It's a pass play of 23 yards to the sophomore out of Eastvale. First down, Mount San Antonio.
Perfect pass thrown to the outside shoulder.
Lionel Masivi, another youngster from Eastvale, California, was on the coverage for an RCC defense that yields their opening first down of the game, a club in the Tigers that this year is giving up only 18 points a game. Rangel, off play action, scrambles and takes off, but slides right at the line of scrimmage. The pressure for RCC by Alex Navarro Silva, number 91.
And you're watching the Tigers, though, are really getting out from the outside, funneling in. Great defensive strategy starting off here early in this ball game.
Navarro Silva, as we see there, part of a plethora of clubs, or plethora of defensive linemen there up front for a Tigers bunch that this year has been great in rushing the passer. 25 sacks on the season for an RCC defense that really has been unheralded. Those two quarterbacks have really thrown the ball like we're in the backyard, but that defense has really kept them in quite a few games. We witnessed that earlier in the season. I mean, there were very few times that RCC was forced to stop teams on defense because they scored so many points, but when called upon, it's what makes them so good. They won those games. For more on not just this season, but also this matchup tonight, we bring in the third member of our crew, in Brian Wilson. Brian?
Yeah, thanks, guys. So early in the game, you could tell RCC is really trying to control the line of scrimmage, trying to get that run game going, which is interesting because you think that Mount Sac, with their star running back, would be trying to get the running game going. If RCC is able to just limit the big plays and keep everything in front of them, they should have a great way of winning this game. Back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. The interesting notable there is the run game for both of these clubs. Mounties have maybe the best running back, as mentioned, in junior college football. A 3-star prospect committed to UCLA, ranked as the 6th best running back in America in Rashad White. He'll be tough to stop tonight.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to seeing him play all season long. Anytime you have a guy that signs locally to go to UCLA, Chip Kelly's, he's recruited some pretty good players in his time.
You think so?
I don't think they worked for him today as they got hammered by the Trojans.
Yes.
But, man, I'll tell you what, if you're getting recruited out of a JC to play at UCLA, you can definitely play.
And he is, for the Mounties, number 7. He's in the backfield, joined by number 44, Nicholas Corona, a freshman from Bakersfield, as the Mounties spread 3 receivers on 2nd and long. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, Brian Wilson from Arthur and Wheelock Stadium. White the catch at the 40-yard line, and he slips through 1 tackle. He could have ran out of bounds 3 yards earlier. It's what makes him such a dynamic running back. He lowers the shoulders and picks up 7.
There's a big third down here. A relatively clean game so far. As I just jinxed us. I'm just happy that you used the word plethora.
I did, didn't I?
That was a pretty good. I wanted to tell you that. Congratulations. I love that word.
I like the word broadcaster's jinx. It seems like it happens every time, as Rengel's throw is incomplete, nearly intercepted to the 2nd level. Jonathan Schofield, the Mounties' top receiving target this year, was the intended target.
You could have also said a veritable cornucopia.
I could have said that.
Because we are near Thanksgiving, and, the cornucopia, the thing that looks like a horn, there you go.
That's actually a good idea.
There you go. You can work that in sometime, a veritable cornucopia.
Or I could work in the definition of a Mountie at some point in this broadcast tonight. Punt down to the 15-yard line. Riverside has seen this club too many times to their liking. The Tigers had their hearts ripped out in 2014 in the SCFA championship, in which they lost to this club 35-14. That is just one example of what has made this such a storied rivalry. Yeah. This is the 10th meeting this decade between Riverside and Mount San Antonio. The Mounties, the all-time series lead throughout that decade, 5-4. And what has just been an incredible rivalry. Barledge completes the slant to Dylan Lawrence. He got off to a slow start to begin his Tiger career, yet has really caught fire throughout the stretch of league play and now in this playoff opener.
Oh, he was great 2 weeks ago as we saw him on Riverside TV. Just so elusive and just can stop on a dime.
Now, Dylan Lawrence, who didn't play his senior year at Los Alamitos, California, in high school, he has throughout this season been a go-to target for either Jacob Barledge or Mike Irwin. This has been the story just about all year. The Tigers have tossed through 2 different quarterbacks. A transfer from Oregon, Mike Irwin, started the season as the signal caller, but Jacob Barledge has impressed that coaching staff, and he starts in this playoff opener. Thomas Kinslow, he spins at the 30 and takes a tumble to the 36-yard line. The 2 quarterbacks hasn't slowed down this offense a bit.
No, I'll tell you what, there's a third quarterback waiting in the wings, and we saw him a little bit 2 weeks ago. Tyler Thomas, possibly the most dynamic runner we have ever seen at RCC. He's waiting in the wings for next year if Bartlett can continue to get better.
And that's given that Tyler Thomas sticks around. It seems so many players at these two programs, if colleges, as we see the Tigers will bring out the punt group here, if colleges look at these guys as freshmen and think they can play, I mean, they're not really sticking around for their sophomore season.
Well, the thing is, with the community college level, you have to get a certain amount of units in to be able to qualify to transfer after one season. And that's where it can get a little dicey. But
right.
Coach Kraft has a number of student athletes that could get to the next level right away.
Jonathan Schofield on the return, and he is spilled at the 31-yard line. The stop by Jamon McGlory. Eligibility or not, I mean, these players understand, yes, you want to reach the next level. There is a whole lot of importance on a football game like tonight as the city of Riverside is watching.
We got the city of Riverside. We got the mayor again. 2 nights in a row.
2 nights in a row.
2 nights in a row we've seen the mayor at games. And I tell you, he's the good luck charm for Riverside. As last night he was there for Ramona winning. Hopefully tonight he can bring some luck as the Tigers are moving forward into the playoffs.
Rashad White, a 5-yard scamper. Zach Barola, a freshman from Redlands, makes the stop. Ramona's your alma mater, and the Rams won yesterday. Riverside, my alma mater. The Tigers, since I've been here, have not won a state title. It's been 30 years since they won the elusive national championship. Sometimes, similar to last night for the Rams, everything clicks at once. And for RCC, this has been a Cinderella season for them. They're unbeaten coming into today as this run gains a couple. Malachi Thompson the carry. Third down and 5. The Mounties this year are 35% on third down. Rangel is hit as he throws. Tipped away and incomplete. Excellent coverage from the veteran Jalen Bowens. A sophomore out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, forces the incompletion for the Tigers.
So some great defense from both clubs so far here to start the game. That pass was thrown just, I think, probably a little too soon. Hit him right in a bad spot, right in the face. Right in the face mask.
And the hands. That is
right
a horrible, horrible throw. The coverage by way of the Tigers and Jalen Bowens. Fair catch signaled and made just across the 20-yard line. So he is a out-of-state product. That's the other thing about Tom Kraft. He doesn't mind venturing out to other countries in order to find those talents. As we see on the bottom ticker, Saddleback and Canyons are tied at 7.
I'll tell you what, I really kind of hope that Canyons wins just because I think it's really so difficult to beat a team 2 times in a row, especially just 2 weeks apart. It's really a different situation because you can scout and things can change so quickly. I'm kind of hoping the Canyons can pull out a victory over the Gauchos.
And, you know, you look at a team enough and eventually, after you see a different performance from 1 week to the next, you realize as Kinslow puts on another dazzling run, it's a 13-yard gain on a first down. I mean, this is 19-year-old kids, 20-year-old kids, and, I mean, there's a difference in performance over a week because they're dealing with things that we used to deal with when we were teenagers.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard going to school. It's hard being a student-athlete.
Thomas Kinslow, a bell cow throughout this opening quarter. He finds a small seam over the right tackle and is wrestled down by John Tavis Walker after another strong first down run. But the Tigers have not only managed what's going on in the classroom as they have been very strong academically, but this RCC bunch, hearing almost all the year they're the top team in the country, they have backed it up on the field.
Oh, they've just been tremendous. I mean, you can't say enough about this juggernaut that we've seen in Riverside. In fact, I'm walking around, people go, hey, I heard you on the call. That RCC team, they're pretty special, aren't they? Everybody's talking about the Tigers.
Cameron Bosley, first down Riverside. It's a 10-yard burst for the freshman out of Killeen, Texas. Really another special running back that doesn't get quite the carries that he would if he was at a different school.
Yeah, and talking about there literally are 8 different backs on this team that can really serve a purpose, and they are showing it tonight. They've got 3 so far that have done damage.
First down, slant to Lawrence, and he gains 7. We've got an official timeout on the field. So the Tigers have dug in deep throughout the recruiting over the last couple years and have brought in products from all over the world. As the Tigers, that roster of 94 players, the players have resided from 12 different states and 3 different countries.
It's like the United Nations.
Yeah.
I talked to Kobe Fitzgerald during the Coach's Perspective show. I said, hey, what's it like in the locker room? And I said, do you guys have a lot of different dialects? Is it like the UN? And he kind of scoffed at it. But honestly, walking around, I'm not the brightest guy in the world. I don't think I can understand all the different languages, dialects. I think I would just keep real quiet, sit in a corner. There's too many people from different places.
Exactly. Players on this roster reside from United States, from Samoa, and from Australia, along with 12 different states in the continental U.S. Barlage from the 50 loads up and throws, finding Giovanni Sanders. The dazzling freshman gets a good downfield block and is tripped up short of the 10-yard line. The Mounties' Trayshawn Pickett saves a touchdown as Giovanni Sanders is involved with his opening catch of the game.
Yeah, flag on the play there, and I'm going to guess it's probably going to be a block in the back, just by the way that. Let's see how it goes.
That's Gio Sanders. There is a penalty flag on the play.
Let's see what they call.
That replay looked clean.
It sure did. I don't know what they saw there, but I'm going to guess. Oh, they called holding.
Number 3, yeah. Our comment still stands, however. The Tigers this season penalized 125 times for 1,069 yards. And to think the RCC Tigers, we had talked about it ad nauseum this year, to think they're scoring about 50 points a game while committing that many penalties, I mean, that is an impressive thing in and of itself. Tigers, after the penalty, still have a fresh set of downs, and Barlage completes the pass to Reggie Retzlaff. It's a 4-yard gain.
Reggie Retzlaff, fouled there by number 13 on the stop from outside.
The head women's basketball coach here at RCC, Alicia Berber, is watching us, and she enjoyed my United Nations comment.
Hey, I enjoyed it too.
Hey, her son Maximus was part of that Ramona win last night as they're heading into the CIF championship. Congratulations to Maximus.
Right. Barlage hit as he throws, tipped and nearly intercepted at the second level by Colin Keanu. Tigers women's basketball making the playoffs in the SCFA last year under Alicia Berber.
Her husband Frank was on the last CIF championship team at Ramona. So it's going to be a father-son, could possibly have father-son champions at their alma mater, which is, I think in itself, one of the coolest stories around.
Right. And Ramona football is not the only sport that's been very successful over the last couple years.
No, they've been phenomenal in a lot of things. That program has turned around a lot like it was 30-plus years ago.
Another third down stop by the Mounties as Cameron Bosley is stacked up after a 1-yard gain. The Tigers from here, they would have a 42-yard field goal, but RCC's offense stays on the field as on 4th and 5, the Tigers spread 4 receivers out there. This is their second 4th down try of the ball game if they do indeed go for it. Late opening quarter, the SCFA playoff opener, RCC Mount San Antonio. Off the play fake, Barlage is hit as he throws, and the pass is reeled in. That's Rolandis Widener. First down, Riverside.
Boy, and just to see the confidence that Coach Kraft has in the young Barlage as he steps up and, throws an absolute BB shot right down across the middle of the field. That shows great poise for that young man.
Tigers in the red zone for the second series today. RCC leading California with 43 red zone touchdowns this season. Looking for another. Inside run, Bosley squirts through a hole and is spilled at the 10. Connor Helsius, a Rancho Cucamonga High School product, makes the stop, does the sophomore middlebacker of Mount San Antonio.
Second and 8 for the Tigers.
Riverside also has just been so dynamic on those fourth downs, leading the state at 67%, and they beat the Mountie defense yet again. First quarter complete. Riverside leads 7-0 over Mount San Antonio. It's the SCFA playoff opener between the Tigers and the Mounties. Down to the field yet again, Brian Wilson is standing by.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Really great first quarter by the RCC team, especially on defense. They're able to keep things in front of them. They've been tackling really well today. The Mounties haven't gotten much going on the ground. One thing to keep in mind, though, really the only team that's beat RCC this season is RCC. As long as they can limit their mistakes, there hasn't been a team that's been able to touch them this year. Back to you guys.
I'm going to say this about Brian Wilson. He's got a glorious beard going on. I thought I was growing one for what, No Shave Movember, they call it.
Yes.
I do it with a group. We support the men's health and try to combat men's cancers. I've had to deal with that myself, and I'm looking down at Brian Wilson, and man, what a glorious beard that man has.
Okay, let's keep this together there, Jeff. At least one of us has to be keep it together. But Brian Wilson,
yeah, there he goes. He's rubbing his beard. I just want the jacket he was wearing. What a nice-looking RCC jacket.
I'm an alum and a graduate of this place, and I don't have an RCC jacket.
Yeah, I am too, and I should definitely have one of those jackets for God's sakes.
I mean, I'm nothing compared to your history here.
Come on.
I am undefeated as a RCC head coach.
You are?
Yes.
I didn't know you coached.
Barledge fires. And the crossing pattern is complete. That is to Sanders, and he is about as slippery a receiver as the Tigers have on this roster. He does cross the end zone, but the officials mark him down at around the 3. I mean, slippery is really the perfect word for him.
Yeah, but look, you have Kevin Brown there. Kevin Brown, number 77, right there on the left of your screen. You know how big he is? I always talk about this, the most amazing thing in the world. They say he's 6'7", 400 pounds.
Wow.
Just put him in your, you know what, you just grab one of those little backs and you put him in your back pocket. 400 pounds.
400. And the Tigers. Cameron Bosley loses a couple. This team throughout the opening quarter, RCC, had controlled the clock in ways they don't typically do. Time of possession, 10:19 for RCC, 4:41 for Mount San Antonio, but Riverside does stall inside the red zone. For a team that has typically punched in their red zone trips with touchdowns, they'll settle for a field goal try. Eric Matute will snap. The Tigers' Jacob Barledge will hold. And the field goal, a bit longer than an extra point, will be by way of Ricardo Chavez. And the freshman from Valley View High School in Moreno Valley, he splits the uprights. And the Tigers have taken a double-digit lead here early in the second quarter.
Well, they've been efficient, and like I said, the genius of Tom Kraft, he has really been able to do numbers, slow the ball down, or he can go fast.
Here's a look at the speedy Thomas Kinslow, who set up that drive for the Tigers. In the first quarter, Thomas Kinslow ran 11 times for 82 yards, along with a scoring run on the opening drive, and he sets up this possession for RCC. Barledge hooks up with Dylan Laurent on a crossing pattern. This is late in the opening quarter. Then Barledge takes a deep shot on a fourth down and converts with Widener, which sets up the field goal from Ricardo Chavez, who was 4 for 5 on field goals this season. Riverside leads 10-0. And now Zervelas is checked in, and he provides the kickoff duties as he belts the ball into the end zone. Jonathan Schofield from the 1. He stumbles at the 20 and is dropped to the 28-yard line.
Number 22, Jonathan Schofield, brings it out to the
Riverside comes into this game ranked as the top team according to the JC Gridiron Dirty 30, the top junior college club in the country. So to say
What is
that
it called?
that's JC Gridiron Dirty 30.
That sounds like a class I took in college.
What class was that?
It's biology. It was called. In fact, I took it here at RCC.
Yeah, actually, that reminds me. I think I called it.
Everybody
as
has.
well.
That's why when you said it, I was like, what?
Mounties begin this drive on the ground, and Riverside gets a good push led by James Hanson as Dominique Redden is smothered at the line of scrimmage. But speaking of that dirty 30, whatever it is, I'd say more psychology than biology when it comes to the Tigers, because I'm sure everybody has told them, hey, you're the best team in the country. That has to play into the minds of these guys.
You can walk around with your chest out and be the man in charge. He's walking around, big man on campus.
Off play action, Rangel hooks up with his tight end. It's complete to Jamil Weaver, the freshman from Pasadena, California, and he rumbles for a 12-yard gain. That's a first down hookup from Rangel to Weaver. The Mounties just their third first down of the game as Mount San Antonio tries to answer some of the question left in that first quarter against that defense. They had on 2 drives settled for punts on both series. And that was off the interception to begin the game by Sean Dorso of Riverside, a transfer out of Fresno State, one of many bounce backs from FBS Powers on that RCC Tiger roster. Rangel launches the pass, leaping catch by Sean Bowden. And he is wrapped up near the 50. That's a short gain on first down as we take a look at that Wheelock crowd. And there is still a line to get out, or get in, rather.
I think they should just send him over to the visitors. Let's fill up both of these bleachers.
Right, but who doesn't want to be on the home side? Tiger football, it feels a little closer on this side.
Yeah, but look, you got some open seats over there.
Right.
And I like to eat really loud. I'd want to sit over there kind of by myself.
You know, part of what makes RCC such a dominant team at home has to be that barbecue cooking that they have here at Wheelock Stadium, as Rashad White gains 4. Have you tried any of the cooking here?
I have 2 hot dogs in both pockets of my jacket right now.
Oh, I thought those were game notes.
No, that's
silly me. I thought you prepared.
Nope, those would be hot dogs that I grabbed as I was walking upstairs, and I'm going to eat them at halftime. I was thinking I might offer the mayor one, but I don't. He might be. What is that stuff called? The gluten. He might.
Gluten.
He might not eat
right,
gluten.
Right.
He is the mayor. You don't know what those guys eat.
But we know what they watch on a Saturday night in a big football game here today. This run's going nowhere. Rashad White, it's been maybe the first time this year he has seen a defense like this, as James Hanson, number 92, was involved on the RCC stop. The Mounties are denied on third down again. To start off this contest, Mount San Antonio was 0 for 3 on third down.
I'll tell you what, there, number 92.
James Hanson.
Man, he gave a lot of effort there. I bet he's tired after all that showmanship there. That was exhausting to watch.
Right. Mounties Damian Garcia the punts, and that bounces through the end zone for a touchback. Also a special moment today for Tom Kraft, as the Tiger coach with a win tonight would garner his 100th of the year.
100?
Yes.
That's a lot of wins here. Just here at Riverside.
At RCC, he's 99-15, and at home he's 57-2.
Okay, so wait, if he gets 100, he'll be 115.
100 wins and 15 losses.
That's 85% winning percentage. For all you at home that don't know your math.
Barlage looks and chucks the ball on a crossing pattern. It's caught by Isaiah Leith, the transfer from Hawaii.
To number 13, Isaiah Lee, he's tackled there by number 13.
For all those majors in football, Hawaii is also an FBS program, and the fact that Leith was able to slip out of that university, I mean, that is quite the find for Tom Kraft. I mean, how do you even, if you're a coach, how do you even know that, the recruiting situation for a lot of these guys?
Well, they put it out there. There's lists that come out all the time in Division I. They'll put their name out there. They're part of the transfer portal. But, the friendships that I'm sure Coach Kraft has made over the years have helped. And I know Nick Rolovich over at the University of Hawaii has a lot of ties to the Inland Empire. They have Miles Reed, who is the running back for Corona Centennial, is the starting running back over at Hawaii. Look at the line.
Wow.
It's the hottest ticket in town. You know what's going to be hot, be even more of a hotter ticket than this?
What is?
Next Friday night, the Festival of Lights at the Mission Inn. People are going to be lining up. There's going to be 80,000+ people just a few miles, maybe a mile down the road here.
So that's downtown Riverside.
Yeah, it's going to be
Mission Inn. All right. And that's where all, the culinaries, the arts, the innovation, Riverside.
Yeah, they'll all be there.
Yes. Barlage throws to Dylan Lawrence, and the pass is complete at the 30-yard line in front of the sophomore Colin Keanu of Mount San Antonio. The Riverside offense to start this game has outgained the Mounties 181-49. And IRCC leads 10-0. The stadium holds over 3,000, and it is packed. There may not be any more room for those fans to check in. As we're early in the second quarter, this is the playoff opener of the SCFA. The pass dropped by Armstrong Johnson. This is the opener of the SCFA playoffs, a major moment for this RCC program.
Now, maybe you could explain the what is it, the acronym again?
SCFA.
Okay, whatever that is. Okay. Explain, is it a Final Four of Southern California and a Final Four in Northern California, and those two will meet?
Yes. Imagine the AFC and NFC.
Okay.
Passes dropped. And in the South, you've got Riverside, Mount San Antonio from those big math majors from Walnut, California.
That's right.
Saddleback from Mission Viejo, right there in the coast. College of the Canyons up there in the Ventura area, if I'm not mistaken. Is that?
No, it's kind of by Magic Mountain, right next to Magic Mountain.
Okay, Santa Clarita, basically. Barlage, that pass deflected. The Tiger offense has bogged down on this second quarter drive. 9:01 to go in the half. Riverside goes 3 and outs and brings out the punt group. And then from north.
Yeah, you know all these. I know you wrote all this stuff down, so go ahead and give it to us.
And then the north, American River has been a power for years, so they battle San Mateo. And then the other two, don't hate me for this, I need a minute to check my notes real quick. But that's the north.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, those guys. As that punt rolls and is stopped at around the 18-yard line. We're only interested in what's going on in Riverside. And Riverside TV, for folks that think, oh, you guys just cover high school and college football, you couldn't be farther from the truth. You see Canyons up 13-7 over Saddleback right now.
Oh, Riverside TV does everything. They have cooking shows. They have the coach's perspective by a guy named Jeff Gorham that hosts it as well. They have college basketball that they cover. Riverside, RCC, UC Riverside. They cover it all. They do it all.
And for fans who are wondering, I don't think Jeff Gorham is going to shave his beard after November.
I am not.
Rashad White crawls in some space to about the 23-yard line. That's a gain of 4. Rashad White, who came into this game on a blistering pace this year, the Mountie running back, averaging 6.5 yards a carry and 12 all-purpose touchdowns. The UCLA commit is averaging a whopping 3 yards a carry today. The Riverside defense has done an excellent job in bottling up that running back. Game update in the bowl game. San Bernardino Valley down early to Chaffee. White bounces off the first wave of defenders, hit by Isaiah Popo, and he has the first down. Popo, a transfer from Sacramento State.
I was just there last week.
You were just there.
I was literally there last Thursday in Sacramento State.
What's it like up there? A little different?
Yeah, I like Riverside. I love, as he says right there, hashtag I love Riverside. That's all I'm going to say. I was in Sacramento and Stockton, and all I can say is I love Riverside.
That's all I need to know.
There
And
you
you
go.
know what? You must be teaming up with the folks down there, timing that up perfectly. Rangel takes a shot in solo coverage downfield, and it's nearly intercepted. Lionel Masivi was covering the Mountie receiver Trenton Finley.
Well, what a bomb, though. What an arm.
By Zach Rangel. Wow.
He's like Uncle Rico. He threw that right over that mountain.
Yeah. That mountain, that's right. That great reference there, Jeff.
You like that?
Yeah.
Mountain right there. Threw that right over Mount Rubidoux.
Hashtag I love Riverside.
There you go.
You know, Mount Rubidoux will be in the skyline of that Festival of Lights show next week. And I think you'll get quite a few watchers as that pass is complete by Sean Bowden. Looking at the weather report next week, Jeff, I mean, you may be dealing with some elements.
That doesn't bother me. Rain, sleet, snow,
You
heat.
You know that snow could be or at least something like that. It's supposed to get pretty cold next weekend.
I'm a grown man, Nick. I'm a grown man. I fear nothing but tigers and bears.
Not even the Bears compared to these Tigers. White, an outside run. And he provides a straight arm.
And that's going to be a face mask call. That's going to be a penalty against the Tigers.
Well, Riverside ranked as the top team in junior college football. Behind them, Gulf Coast out of Perkinson, Mississippi. And then to round out the top 5 is San Mateo, Lackawanna, Pennsylvania, and Hutchinson in Kansas.
Okay, what was that other one you said? One more time.
Lackawanna.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, there's only so many ways you can determine how good a team is when you don't play each other. That is, you know, the one thing is.
I called it right there. There's the face
Right,
mask.
yeah. Mounties and Tigers meet so many times with so much on the line over the last decade. In fact, the winner, when these two were conference foes, they're not anymore, but when they were in the same conference, the National Central Conference, the winner of that game won the league championship every time they played under Tom Kraft. As this run gains a couple. How about the other coach, the Mounties' Bob Jastrab? He is in his 15th year. He has already crossed the century mark. He has 140 wins and 37 losses. And Jeff, get this. He has won the South 6 times. He has 3 state titles and 2 national championships. So this is the best of the best, Bob Jastrab and the Mounties.
It's like John Calipari versus Mike Krzyzewski.
Well, not this year for John Calipari. That's a whole other story. And I like John Calipari. Second down. Rangel pumps. Tipped and intercepted. Kua Olatoa. And the sophomore safety is tackled at the 35-yard line. That is the second pick thrown from Rangel, who had 9 all year. The Tigers take over at their own 35.
And I'll tell you what, just the quick hands of that defense, just be able to get the hand in the passing lane right there. Oh, right off his own guy. But just to be so quick. Great reflexes.
Kua Olatoa's second pick of the year. The Tigers, in critical junctures we have seen this season, they have been opportunistic as a defense. RCC late in the half with a 10-0 lead. I've taken over on offense with a group that hasn't, pulled away like they typically do. RCC, after that touchdown drive to start a 3-minute march, the Tigers have just 1 field goal scored over the next 20 minutes. Early movement, Kevin Brown, the left tackle, a sophomore from Corona. He went to Centennial High School.
He's 400 pounds.
Wow.
That's inertia. Once you start moving, when you're 400 pounds, you start moving.
Right.
It's really hard to stop.
Usually those Division I schools love a guy with that type of size.
Oh, he's getting recruited by everybody. He's an All-American, first team All-American.
First team JUCO All-American. And Kevin Brown, usually that type of size, plays center or guard, but he has shown some agility at that tackle position. Dylan Lawrence tightropes the sideline and has been whistled down at around the 39-yard line.
Let's see if he stepped out of bounds. Let's see if our Our camera crew is able to get a hold of that shot here.
Yeah.
Of course
Jacob
we can.
Barlage, the poise that this quarterback has had, we may not be able to get that quite the angle we want.
Well, tell those guys to get out of the way so we
Yeah.
can see it.
Second down and 7. And this time he finds Reggie Retzlaff. He was a quarterback at Centennial High School in 2017, then switched to wide receiver in 2018. That switch may be part of why he is with the Tigers, but has emerged as a starting wide receiver and has made a huge impact. I mean, very rarely do you get a guy, if Division I schools want him, he could play 2 positions at a high caliber level. That's a 1st and 10 for RCC at their own 45-yard line. Downhill, Thomas Kinslow. Wrapped up with a 48. Travis Tuitasi, the tackle.
Yeah, the Tigers lead 10-0, but it sure seems like they've scored a lot more than this. They have really dominated this first half so far.
Riverside with nearly 200 more yards all-purpose than that of Mount San Antonio. 10-0 start for the Tigers. Barlage off the play fake. His pass is incomplete. Yard loose by John Davis Walker, a sophomore out of Coconut Beach, Florida. Quick game update. The winner of this contest battles the victor of Saddleback and College of the Canyons. That game currently locked up at 13 early in the second quarter. 3rd down and 4 here in this SCFA playoff opener. Flag has been tossed. These are 2 of the most penalized clubs in junior college football. Well, for those wondering where these Tigers may play next year, a look at last year may have something to give you some sort of a blueprint, as RCC has about 30 players a year transfer to 4-year schools. Barlage fires, and he finds his man, Rolandus Widener, who spins to the 35-yard line. He may look a little bit like last year, and some of the stars that come out of this area. It's a 1st down pickup for the Tigers.
Yeah, perfect throw right across the middle. Seems to be Barlage's favorite place to throw the football.
Yeah, in the middle of the field. Empty formation for Riverside late in the opening half. Barlage climbs the pocket and takes off. And the quarterback out of bounds near the 35. Tiger greats who are now at Division I schools from last year include Nick Figueroa at USC, Victor Viramontes at UNLV, Stone Smart at Old Dominion, and Kobe Bryant, not to be mistaken by the Laker legend.
Kobe Bryant?
Yes, he's at SMU.
Was he named after Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, who knows? But I wouldn't blame any of those guys. As one of the bounties are Hurts.
I'm going to name my next child Kobe Bean Gorham. And that has a good ring to it.
It sure does. Being a Gorham, it's kind of like being a Kraft. There's just a family lineage there.
There's Gorhams. I got kids. I got 3 boys. I got a brother. I got a dad, and they're all doing something here in Riverside. My dad, John's on the Riverside Hall of Fame Wall of Distinction, so he's the most popular of all the Gorhams.
No, he isn't.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
No.
He's the angriest of all the Gorhams, too. My dad, he was a tough guy. Spent a little time here at RCC as well.
You know what? No, I think you're the angriest. It's really tough to get you under control,
Nuts. Crazy.
2nd down and forever for the Tigers, as that big pass play was evaded by a penalty. Yeah, we have a fixture of the down box here in a moment. Tom Kraft, he may be the best Kraft, but certainly he has been the best Tiger coach in quite some time. The former school record holder for passing yards when a head coach at San Diego State. And now 10 years at the RCC program, he has won a conference crown outright almost every year and has been in the playoffs every season. Second down and 22 is coming up for RCC football. Winner advances to the Final Four of the state and the championship of the South, the SCFA. Nick Rice and Jeff Gorham with you. Brian Wilson on the sideline. In playoff weather here on a Saturday night, Barlage fires over the middle. The Mountie secondary has struggled today. There's Giovanni Sanders, who dances to the 21-yard line. He lost his helmet, but picks up the Tiger first down.
Boy, Giovanni Sanders, tell you what, we've said his name quite a few times the last few weeks. He's just so quick.
He had a breakout year at Murrieta Mesa High School in the Inland Empire and has put together quite the season for the Tigers. 44 catches, 662 yards, and 7 touchdowns for RCC coming into tonight. Thomas Kinslow, who also has gained the century mark in rushing. He is the tailback. Off play action, Barlage launches a slant to Isaiah Leith. Touchdown Tigers.
And there it is, right down the middle of the field. As we've seen Barlage all night long.
Isaiah Leith was the top-ranked wide receiver in Oregon coming out of Madison High School, signed with the University of Hawaii, and bounces back from the Rainbow Warriors to RCC and has made an immediate impact. Extra point is good for the Tigers. This drive started with the tip drill, intercepted by Kua Olatoa. Riverside marches 65 yards, this time predicated by the passing game and the stalwart quarterback Jacob Barlage. He flips this out underneath to Dylan Laurent, number 3, who stepped out of bounds. Otherwise, he would have scored, it appeared. Reggie Retzlaff, he was the second target throughout that drive. This is a run from Thomas Kinslow. He crossed the century mark with that carry. Then Barlage delivers a strike. The first of 2 big throws over on crossing patterns. This to Sanders. Then the 4th receiver to catch a pass on this drive. The transfer from Hawaii, Isaiah Leith. Tigers lead 17-0 late in the first half. In the opening round of the JUCO playoffs, winner advances to the Final Four in the state and the Southern California Football Association Championship game. Taking on a hop at the 7-yard line, Jonathan Schofield. And he finds a seam to about the 33. Devontae Davis-Smith involved on the stop for the Tigers. And as we have seen in so many heated rivalries between the Mounties and the Tigers, to the echo of the whistle, some of these players will play, and that's just the frustrations and also the energy in playing as a Mountie or a Tiger against each other in this type of game.
Yeah, there's going to be some tempers flaring. You got to show off a little strength. You can't let them say, hey, you're just going to walk in here and walk all over us. Mount Sac, though, I tell you what, they haven't given up. They're not out of this game yet, because Riverside, we've seen score in bunches. With 3 minutes left, I mean, this is still a ball game.
Yes. Mount San Antonio, fresh off a win over Fullerton, clinching their first National Central Conference crown since 2012, their first outright league championship. And that run loses a couple. The Mounties have been road warriors this year. Mount San Antonio 5-0 on the road. Is there anything to that where you just play better away from your building?
Some teams just do. I mean, some teams you just become more focused, and sometimes just teams relate better on the road. They just have something in them.
Yeah. Tigers not the same story. Not that they aren't exceptional on the road, but the Tigers under Kraft are 57-2 at home. This pass is picked off. Intercepted by Lionel Masivi. The pass was intended for Sean Bowden. That throw didn't stand much of a chance.
But they're just everywhere at the right time. They jump gaps. And I'll tell you, they just have great hands, as you see it here.
Excellent first interception of the year for the freshman out of Eastvale, Lionel Masivi.
Played at Roosevelt. Played for Coach Leach.
Yeah,
Tommy Leach.
it's rare to have a guy on the Tigers reside from around here. There's a couple, but Lionel Masivi, one of them. And in front of this home crowd. Now, one of the 2 losses the Tigers suffered at home in the last decade. There's only 2 of them.
In 10 years, 2 losses?
And one of them was to the Mounties. where the Mounties won in the SoCal Championship and wound up winning the state championship 2 weeks later, did the Mounties in 2014. But it's almost, it just never happens, it seems. RCC lose at home. And if they win this game, they will represent the South at home for the SCFA Championship next week. Inside run, here's Kidslow. And he is wrapped up about a yard short of the first down. You know, you mentioned the Tigers have 8 different running backs. It's been clear, however, who has been the bell cow at running back, and that's the guy hobbling off.
Brings up a 3rd and 1.
I hope that young man, Thomas Kinslow, is going to be okay. They're going to rely heavily on him. They're going to continue this run with the elusive,
but not impossible.
No, national championship.
3rd down and short. Cameron Bosley, the reserve running back. He is pulled from behind by Maurice Lotovale, a freshman from Samoa, but Bosley moves the chains for RCC. Now, Bosley is 5'9", 220. The guy dragging him down is 5'11", 310. And Bosley won that battle with a 90-pound disadvantage. A minute left to go in the half. We'll see how the Tigers play this minute drill. They also have their full complement of opening half timeouts. Out cut to Giovanni Sanders. He makes a man miss twice and gallops out of bounds inside the 20. Colin Keanu had a hand on him 2 times in a row.
Holy smokes, that's when you go, hello, how do you do? Look, he loses everybody.
Giovanni Sanders as slippery as they come. A true freshman out of Murrieta, California. 1st and 10.
I just like watching the assistant coaches call out the plays on the sidelines. They're doing all kinds of weird stuff.
Right. Barlage flips it short and finds an open Sanders again. And he is escorted out of bounds inside the 10 late. Pushed by Lotovale after the hit from Makael Johnson.
That might have been a late hit. He was standing on the track. Let's see here. Oh, that should have been a penalty right there. And there's a second hit.
Well, kudos to Giovanni Sanders for keeping his cool there. Just flipping the ball ever so calmly to the official. It was an 8-yard throw from Jacob Barlage. He hands to Cameron Bosley. One of the linemen of Mount San Antonio lost the helmet as Bosley crawls inside the 5, that being Travis Tuitasi, the product out of St. John Bosco High School. Hey, that's the 3rd or 4th time we've seen a helmet on the floor in this quarter.
St. John Bosco took care of business last night and beat the Evil Empire, Centennial.
Yes.
It will be.
What did Centennial do to you, Jeff?
That's just what, that's what they call themselves. Did you know that?
Right. Oh, I knew. I've heard of that. Cameron Bosley stacked up near the line. And now we'll see if Tom Kraft uses one of his 3 timeouts.
And there he goes. Yeah, in fact, on the inside of every Centennial jersey, right on the back, inscribed on the inside of every uniform, it says the Evil Empire.
Really?
And he likes to, Matt Logan, who I called the Sith Lord. Pep Fernandez and I on our Inland Sports Show, we called him the Sith Lord, and it's just stuck. So he's the Evil Emperor.
Wow.
And that offense, when it's going.
It is going.
It is like the Death Star. Mm-hmm. But see, they were defeated by the Rebels yesterday, which happened to be St. John Bosco.
Yes.
It's been tamed again, but the Evil Empire will rise again, and Matt Logan will have that group going in 2020. Holy cow.
I'm with you. You know, a former Brave products. I mean, we saw him this year. I'd like to give a shout out to John Rice, who is the coach, no relation to me, who was the coach of, for a time, assistant coach at St. John Bosco, and he's yet another product of Riverside, now coaching up Pauley.
One of the nicest human beings on the planet. You know, he's an English teacher. He teaches a lot of Shakespeare. He's just one of those guys. I reach out to him about once a week just to ask how he's doing, and he always has something positive to say. If I'm a little down,
awesome.
I reach over to John Rice.
John Rice.
And he gives me some great key advice, and just one of those all-around great individuals.
Tom Kraft, similar story. His Tigers up huge over the Mounties. This pass incomplete, intended for Whitener, knocked away by Pickett. Setting up 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, but I don't call Coach Kraft. He won't return my calls.
Yeah, he's been quite the coach for RCC.
He's like Bill Belichick.
Right, but he's nice once you get to know him, okay?
Is he? Is he really? No.
He's
he's
such
a
a
good guy.
jerk, you know?
No, he's been great. He's been on the In the Sports Show before. And
Oh, he has?
Yeah, he's a great
Oh, I
guy.
need to ask about that. First 3rd and goal from the 5. Handoff Bosley, and the Mounties flex their defensive muscles yet again as the top red zone offense converting drives to touchdowns in the state has been denied 2 times in a row by that Mount San Antonio defense. And the Tigers, I mean, no way they attempt a 4th down here this stage of the game, right?
Why not? You're up 17-0. Go at him.
Okay. I mean, I like the idea.
Yeah, who just called timeout? Was it RCC
That's the
or the Mounties?
that's Bill Belichick called timeout.
Yeah, he's going to go for it. Why
Hey,
would you? I mean,
that's-
if you're going to kick a field goal, why just kick a field goal?
Right, but then again, I don't mind. I mean, you know, being called Bill Belichick. I mean, come on, that's not a bad comparison.
If you're talking football, I wouldn't go up to Bill Belichick and be his pal. I don't think he's going to invite me over for a lovely
Right,
beverage or
right.
anything. But no, Tom Kraft, I like to mess around and say he's a curmudgeon. He's just a football coach, and some of those guys are.
Who would have thought I'd be learning so many, different
Vocabulary
lingo.
words?
Yeah, vocabulary.
We're going to test you at the end of the day here.
Ah, dang it! I can't get away from that with you, Jim.
No, the fact, guys in the booth, give me some words. Let's see if we can do some vocabulary with Nick Rice.
Hey, I
Well, they
thought
did.
they'd attempt a field goal here, and they've got the unit out there. We'll see. I mean, I'm with you, though, because the Tigers do kick off to the Mounties to start the second half. We'll see if Tom Kraft thinks about it.
Why not?
Bill Belichick smiled for the first time ever against the Jets earlier this year. I don't know
did?
if you saw that.
No, I didn't.
he was smiling on the sideline. I think Tom Kraft smiles a little bit.
Does he?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to go down and look. I'm going to see if tell him a few jokes.
I think you're wondering why I'm so positive about Tom Kraft.
Yeah,
It's
I-
because he's going to win 100 games if he picks up this one tonight. Here's the kick from Chavez. And it's good with 4 seconds to play. No, they keep running the clock. They may just pull this into halftime. And there we go. Field goal took 10 seconds. And RCC at the half leads 20-0. Boy, the Tigers put together quite a performance with over 300 yards of total offense in the first half of this game. The defense records 3 interceptions, and the Mounties have been shut out here at Arthur N. Wheelock Stadium in Riverside, California. Jacob Barlage has thrown 2 touchdown passes today. And the last was to Isaiah Leith. Here is the throw to Sanders, which sets up the second field goal in as many tries by the Valley View High School products and Ricardo Chavez. 30 minutes in the books from Wheelock Stadium in Riverside. The Tigers 20 and the Mounties nothing. Brian Wilson is standing by on the sideline.
Hey guys, yeah, great first half by RCC so far, but we've seen throughout this year they are a second half team. This offense really comes alive in the second half, and they're outscoring opponents by over 100 points. A little bit of injury news. I have seen Thomas Kinslow over here getting worked on by the trainers. Looked like they were taking a look at his right ankle. They were taping it up, and it looks like we'll see if he can go for the rest of the night. Back to you guys.
Yeah, Thomas Kinslow, 15 carries for 98 yards and a touchdown. He'd be dearly missed if he's unable to return. Jeff, your thoughts of the first half of this game?
Oh, I just think it was efficiency. You look at the time of possession. We've seen Coach Kraft time and time again really dictate the game itself. He held the ball a lot in that first half, 18 minutes and 19 seconds. That's pretty unheard of the last few weeks. He's held the ball for like 3 minutes at a shot.
Right.
And that's about it because the offense has been so efficient. But today, I think he came in with a different game plan. He's looking just to win strategically and get out of here early.
And we'll see if they can do it. The Tigers rolled last week, Saddleback, outscoring them 49-10 down the stretch. Brian Wilson said that they're a second-half team. They proved it a week ago. We'll see if they can do it again tonight as the Tigers lead 20-0. This is the opening round of the postseason in the SCFA on Riverside TV. As the second half's coming up next, this is the Riverside TV Game of the Week.
Here in California, citrus is a part of our lives every day. But what if it all just disappeared? A devastating plant disease called Huanglongbing, or HLB, spread by the Asian citrus psyllid, is fatal for citrus trees, and it might be found in your own backyard. That's why it's important that we all do our part to keep California's citrus safe. Don't let California's citrus disappear. Visit CaliforniaCitrusThreat.org to learn more.
Got junk too big for the trash can? Then call 311 to schedule a bulky item pickup. Riverside residents get 2 free pickups a year, but you gotta follow 3 simple rules. Bulky items must be curbside by 5:30 a.m. the day of your pickup, light enough for 2 people to lift, and the total volume can't be larger than 8 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. If you got a lot of junk, check out our bulky item and e-waste drop-off events held several times each year. Bulky item pickup. Call us today and we'll haul it away.
I'm a police officer pilot. I've been with the city for a little over 10 years. I've always loved aviation and I've always loved law enforcement, so to be able to combine the two together, two of the things that I love the most. I've got experience in the background in law enforcement, so to couple that with aviation and fly every day and still do police work, that's why I'm out here. Work day shift 7 to 5. I usually get here a little before 7. We'll get an email on what occurred the previous evening, so I'll go through those. I'll also check temporary flight restrictions, so I'll check those and see if there's any in the area that we can't fly into. And then we'll go out and do a pre-flight on the helicopter. We'll walk around, check everything, make sure everything's functioning properly. And sometimes we're up for patrol. Other times when we're here on the ground, we'll respond to an incident. If a vehicle pursuit or a foot pursuit or something goes out, we'll launch for that. If there's a fire in the river bottom, we'll go up and provide air support for the firemen on the ground. Code enforcement uses us for their green pool flights, so we'll go up and we'll look for green pools. We're assisting a lot of different departments. I'm a 4th generation Riverside resident out of 5 generations now. My family has set roots here back in the 1900s, and I've got a connection to Riverside, so family and friends are here, and it's nice to give back to a community that you've been brought up in. So, if I were to describe my job in 2 words, it would be uniquely awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. I get to fly a helicopter and do something that I really enjoy doing, at the same time protecting and serving a community that I grew up in. So.
Los Novios is a Mexican market located on Main Street, not far from downtown Riverside. The name means young male bull, which is typically used for its high-quality meat. Alberto Murillo is the owner.
Been in the business for years and years, almost 20 years in the city of Riverside. And always, you know, since I started working, I always dreamed like one day I'll have my own business. And since I'm being in Riverside for so many years, I said, well, this is a good opportunity. So I asked a couple friends, you know, like, and my brother, hey, this is the opportunity of our life. Do we take it or not? And they're like, yes, go for it.
The store features a good selection of fruits, vegetables, canned goods, meats, and seafood. There's also several kinds of cheese, salsa, and guacamole. Loyal customers who shop here say it's because of their fresh food and great customer service.
I hike at Mount Rubidoux, and I go here every morning to buy fresh ceviche. It's a great market, and they're just gonna get bigger and better, so come shop here.
Usually I'll come in here to buy lunch, but if I need anything for my house, any supplemental groceries, I come in here and I buy everything. It's fresh.
Alberto says he trains his staff to treat customers like family. Mercedes Duran is one of his cashiers.
Just asking with how are you doing, that makes a really big difference. And just being in a small market, you kind of notice who's who and what are they doing. Sometimes we'll even ask them like, what are you cooking today? Are you doing spaghetti? Are you doing carne asada? Or, that makes a difference. Yeah.
I wanted the people, when they came, I wanted to feel like welcome, like, oh, this is my house, like this is family. And that's what I wanted to tell all my customers, that they're not just customers, they're guests for me. They're guests, they're my guests, they're my family all the time. When they came, if I know their names, I tell them about their names and everything. I shake hands all day long, and I think they like it.
My name's Lovey Jung, and I work for the City of Riverside Fire Department. I've been here for about 7 years now, and I'm a firefighter paramedic on Engine 1. When I was younger, I actually wanted to be a firefighter, but I ended up getting sidetracked and went and played softball for the Olympic team in 2004 and 2008, and when I retired in 2009, that's when I decided I wanted to switch over to become a firefighter. Usually when I come in, the first thing I do is I check my personal protective equipment, and then I'll also check the medical equipment. Being a paramedic, I have to make sure all my medications are there and that my equipment's working properly, so that when we go on a scene to a medical aid, that everything's in working form and that we're professional on scene. If I were to describe my job in one word, it would be adventurous. Every day is different from day to day, depending on the training or the type of calls that we run. Some days we might go on more DUIs, or some days we might go on more traffic accidents. So every day that I come to work is going to be completely different from the day before and the next day. I get to work with a group of people that I enjoy working with and having that camaraderie that I missed from being an athlete. But now, being a mom, I want to be that role model for my daughter to, show her you can be independent and you can have a job that you want to work in, whether it's a male-dominated career or not. And I want her to understand that as she grows up.
Do you have unneeded prescription medications and don't know what to do with them? CVS Pharmacy and the Riverside Police Department have a safe and secure drop box located inside the Magnolia Police Station. This free and anonymous service keeps dangerous prescriptions out of the hands of children and abusers while protecting the environment through proper disposal. Most over-the-counter and prescription medications are safe to drop off. However, there are some restrictions. Items such as thermometers, inhalers, aerosol cans, ointments, lotions or liquids, and needles and sharps must be disposed of elsewhere. And please, residential clients only. This service is not for businesses to dispose of their medical waste. Help the City of Riverside keep dangerous prescriptions out of the hands of children and abusers by disposing your unneeded drugs in a safe, secure, and environmentally friendly way. You might have noticed new traffic lights popping up around Riverside, and the Public Works Department wants you to see how they work. First of all, you'll notice the new left turn signals consist of 4 lights: a red arrow, a solid yellow arrow, a flashing yellow arrow, and a green arrow. So how does traffic flow work with these new signals? First, we have the left green arrow, which indicates you have permission to turn left, but oncoming traffic must stop. A solid yellow arrow indicates that the light is about to turn red, and you must be prepared to stop, or if you're already in the intersection, complete your turn when safe. A solid red arrow means you must stop. No left-hand turns are allowed. When the signal changes to a flashing yellow arrow, turns are still permitted, however you must yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians before proceeding with your turn. These new signals are being introduced nationwide and represent a safer and more efficient way to handle left-turn traffic at busy intersections. The City of Riverside encourages you to learn more about these new traffic signals, and if you have questions, call 311, Riverside's one-stop shop for answers. The City of Riverside has launched Riverside Alert, a mass notification service that allows emergency crews to alert you in the case of an emergency, potential hazard, or safety concern that may directly affect you. When you sign up, you'll receive a message on the voice or text communication method of your choosing. Here's how it works. Begin by creating an account on riversidealert.com. Once you've entered your information, you'll be listed to receive alerts. All information you provide will be kept strictly confidential. Riverside Alert allows you to confirm that you've received an alert to prevent the same alert from coming through again. You can also choose to receive notifications about events that may affect you or your loved one's workplace, home, school, and more. Go to riversidealert.com and sign up today.
Tucked away in a large warehouse off of Columbia Avenue in Riverside is one of the most unique and highly specialized businesses in all of California. The company designs, modifies, outfits, fabricates, and installs a vast array of custom equipment while turning cars, vans, and trucks into high-tech emergency vehicle. Welcome to West Coast Lights and Sirens.
We've been in business since 2007. We have roughly 35 employees in a 32,000 square foot building.
Danny and I founded West Coast Lights and Sirens in 2007. He had a background in racing, off-road racing, and custom fabrication.
Well, we build cars from San Diego to the Arizona border, into LA, up into Ventura. We have about 80 to 85 different agencies here in Southern California. Most of our builds are those normal patrol cars, but we do get into special builds. We built a special van for crimes against the internet for LAPD. We're going to build another one for the homicide. We build command center units for HEMET. There's a bunch of other things other than just patrol cars that we do here at West Coast Lights and Sirens. The vehicles come in, they're pursuit rated by Ford Motor Company and Chevy, so they have to go through extreme testing for their brakes, acceleration, and things like that before we get them. But when we upfit them with bumpers that'll protect them from intersection crashes, lights that keep the officers safe in intersections, light bars, that help them search for things. Each individual city has a different spec or a different configuration that they build their vehicles on for the specifics of their cities. The attention to detail, the quality, the throughput, and the professionalism. We take extreme care and extreme quality so that your vehicles are repeatable. Every one of them is identical so that officers are safe in our vehicles. The biggest challenges we have is these agencies, there's quite a few of them, they need these vehicles in a timely manner. So they're always there's always a great push to get these vehicles built and in service as quick as we can for the local agencies. West Coast Lights and Sirens builds between 25 and 30 vehicles a week, roughly about 100 a month.
The owners also place the success of the business squarely on the shoulders of their dedicated, loyal, and highly trained group of employees.
My employees are the best. We're very happy. They are very appreciated, and I hope we show it.
Our employees are the key to our operation. Me and Patricia own the place, but these gentlemen in this building do the work. They're the ones that should get the credit for the quality that are done. We are just giving them the tools to do their job.
I absolutely love my job. I've been here for 13 years. I've been working with Danny for 13 years. It's like a family, you know, it's private business and everybody's really good. It's like working with a bunch of your friends. A lot of people don't even know that we're located here. When you tell people what you do as far as work goes, I mean, nobody ever thinks of this as a field that people are in. It's kind of, I guess, out of the public eye, kind of goes on behind the scenes.
I would like to say thank you to all our clients. They're wonderful, they're loyal, and they are very open and welcome to come to our facility and tour and review what's going on here.
Profound emotion is also evident while discussing Riverside and the work with clients whose sole mission is to ensure community safety.
I was born and raised in Riverside, and the fact that we get to build our local law enforcement vehicles brings a lot of pride to myself. A lot of the people that we employ here live in Riverside, and these are the very people that keep us safe at night while we're sleeping. It's a wonderful place to live, it's a wonderful place to start a business, and we're very happy to be here. This part of my job is interacting with the local agencies and actually giving our younger family members places to work in future.
Is that okay?
Welcome to the SCFA playoffs from Riverside, California on Riverside TV. Thomas Kinslow, who gained 98 yards in the first half for the Tigers. He was the running back that capped off the opening drive with this 5-yard scoring scamper. RCC led 7-0 less than 4 minutes into the game. We would be scoreless for the next quarter and a half, but the Tigers established the ground game. Riverside en route to 330 yards and holding the Mounties to only 95, chipping a field goal from Ricardo Chavez, and the Tigers lead 10-0. Mountie quarterback in Zach Rangel was picked off 3 times in the first half. That's by Kua Olatoa of the Tigers, his second pick of the year, and RCC would take advantage. Up 10-0 at this time of the second quarter. The pass complete to Dylan Lart, one of 4 receiving targets who caught passes on this incredible drive of 65 yards over 7 plays. There's Retzlaff, and then the Tigers go deep as Jacob Barlich, who was 20 for 28, 209 yards. He connects here with Giovanni Sanders, then finishes off the drive. The Hawaii transfer Isaiah Leith, who has played well all season, reels in this pass on a post pattern for the Tigers. Late Chavez field goal, and Riverside at the half leads 20-0. Nick Rice alongside Jeff Gorham, and on the sideline, Brian Wilson. Winner of this game advances to the South Championship. For more on that game, let's send it down to Brian Wilson, who is reporting on the sideline.
Guys, yeah, thanks. So something else to watch here in the second half. We know that Coach Kraft loves alternating quarterbacks. We'll see if Jacob Barlich goes the rest of the game. But also, we'll see who's backing him up. Mike Irwin's coming off injury, and Tyler Thompson has played really exceptionally in the last 2 weeks. We'll have to see what the QB situation is like later on in the game. Back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. So the Tigers, we saw over the last couple weeks, as mentioned, toss between the 2 quarterbacks. But the story of this season has to be the emergence of Jacob Bartlett, who was a backup to begin the year. He is the best passer in the state in completion percentage, and he didn't even play the first, other than a couple of sparing snaps, the first month of the year. He was a backup.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's not the dual threat quarterback that Mike Irwin is. Irwin's able to run. He's strong. He gets them going early. Jacob Bartlett, though, is a precision passer. He's a pocket passer, and he's one of those guys that just doesn't make mistakes. He reads his progressions correctly, and he is just efficient as can be.
The Mounties have a reserve at quarterback as well. They have brought in the backup, a sophomore out of Brea, California, Dylan Flanagan, as the Mount San Antonio offense has been held in check. What have you seen from the Mounties in the first half offensively?
No, I haven't seen much. You talked about the great running back, but the Tiger defense, and everybody talks about this Tiger offense, but the Tiger defense has really surprised me tonight, and they've surprised me in the last few weeks. They have really contained high potent offensive teams to really negate anything they can do.
Yeah, the Tigers, the league leader in scoring defense, total defense, rushing defense, and giving up third downs. This second down throw is complete to the sophomore out of Centennial High School, Brandon Quinones. That is a hookup for Mount San Antonio of 11. First down for Mount Sac, led by quarterback Dylan Flanagan. He comes into the lineup after the starter in the first half, Zach Rangel, threw 3 interceptions. Flanagan this year, 372 yards passing, 4 total touchdowns to just 2 interceptions, and Flanagan scampers for a 2-yard gain. Tripped up by Navarro Silva. In junior college football, you don't get the type of 5 games in a playoff situation that you do in high school. And, it's kind of similar to the college football playoff where you've only got a couple games once you reach the postseason. As the Tigers, this long throws incomplete. Schofield, the intended target. You win this game, you're already in the championship game for the South. You win this one next week, and RCC would be in the state championship game.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of the bowl games are tonight. In fact, San Bernardino Valley is playing Chaffee. That will be the bowl game that they will play. There's just a one-game playoff for them, and then it's basically an Elite 8 teams going into the championship round.
And the Tigers have made it, winning every game. RCC outscoring their opponents this year 50-18.
Yikes.
50-18. And, of course, the last home game they had here, they trounced Orange Coast. 76-3, and Bartlett threw 8 touchdowns. Flanagan, the reserve quarterback of the Mounties, launches the pass a bit short, intended for Sean Bowden, a sophomore from Eastvale, California. Mount San Antonio boated a pretty strong offense themselves, 35 points a game this year for the Mounties, but Riverside has held them in check.
Yeah, they've been able to do nothing because that secondary has been everywhere. They've jumped the gaps, they've got interceptions, and they've taken care of the run defense.
Yeah, Mounties 0 for 4 on third down of the ball game, and now they'll bring out the punt group. It's the 4th time Garcia has gotten rid of it. Fair catch signal, but the ball bounces. And is taken a late flag thrown at the 17, maybe illegal touching on Mount San Antonio. For all of the ways that we could talk about the Mounties struggling in this game, they've been flagged twice for 7 yards.
That's it. I mean, good teams in the playoffs usually don't commit too many, erroneous fouls, to say. But Riverside is able, they're just so potent on offense that they can kind of mess up occasionally and still be okay. I'd love to see them shore it up, though, in the next 2 rounds if they continue.
Yeah, that on the Mounties. So Bob Jastrab, quite the head coach for Mount San Antonio. He began his coaching career out Mount Sac in 1989. Then after 11 years as an associate with the Mounties, along with a few short stints at Damascus and also at UNLV, he was named the head coach of the Mounties in 2005, and he has been one of the most successful coaches in junior college history, fastest in California to 100 wins, and also is an 11-time conference champion. He won it again last week. But the Mounties have been trounced by Riverside today. That's a short gain for RCC. Boy, there's just at the half, I mean, a bulletin board full of things I'm sure Bob Jastrab talked to his team about.
I'm sure he talked about, hey, we've got to stop somebody. We can't stop ourselves. They threw three picks. That's stopping themselves. They'd made to change the quarterback. Let's see if that does anything to the momentum.
So far, they struggled on their opening offensive drive of the second half. Jacob Barledge remains the signal caller for the Tigers on their opening possession of the third quarter. And the ball has been dropped. Mounties have signaled they have it. Inoke Katoa, he is running to the Mountie bench, but he may be flagged if he doesn't get back on the field soon. Officials say it's a 1-yard gain, and the Tigers maintain possession. Now, it's pretty clear the Mount Sac defense was fired up on that play.
Yeah, they ran off the field thinking they got it. Well, let's see here on the replay. Oh, he was already down. Yeah, he was flat on his back.
And then the ball spills out. Yeah, those good eyes by Jeff. 3rd down and 7. Tigers 4 for 11 on 3rd down of the ball game. The pass behind Leaf. The coverage from Treshawn Pickett and Tyron Brooks. Both teams exchange punts to begin the second half.
That'll bring up a 4th and 7 for the Tigers.
Yeah, right off the fingertips.
First meeting in 2 years between these two clubs. Tigers losing the season finale in 2017 to this club, but the last 8 meetings, 4 wins for each team, and what has been one of the most deeply rooted rivalries between college powers in football in the state of California.
And it looks like.
And there we go.
Tigers look like they're going to get a first down here.
Depends what type of penalty.
Let's see.
Yeah, I didn't hear that first word that he said.
Yeah, they didn't. Here we go. Here we're going to get the decision.
The Zebras out tonight wearing their short sleeves. Football weather tonight as we're at 60 degrees, a little bit of humidity, and just some wind as well. That's not too bad. Not quite like what the Festival of Lights might be.
No.
All right, here's our decision. It looks like it's a 5-yard infraction. Let's see how severe we think it is. Why don't we be officials for a play, Jeff? That's 5 yards.
Yeah.
Carson Reed, a sophomore from Anchorage, Alaska, stands back and delivers a line drive punt. It wobbles. Schofield waves fair catch and reels it in at the 25-yard line. So that is a punt of 40 yards for the veteran Carson Reed with no return. And neither club having picked up a first down.
In fact,
will set up shop at their own 25.
I was looking at the referees and noticed Charlie Chastain is the umpire. His son, Chuck. I guess they're both Charlie and Chuck. Chuck is the head football coach at Norco, and Charlie Chastain was the quarterback of Norco and actually played here at RCC as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So nice to see Charlie Chastain out there being the umpire.
Yeah, playing quarterback for RCC, probably the toughest position at any school in California, as Rashad White surges to the 33-yard line. Stone Smart, who's playing football at Old Dominion, he was the signal caller last year. And now the Tigers have got maybe for the first time in their career under Tom Kraft, 2 capable D1 guys back there. We haven't spoke at all about Mike Irwin. He is a Lake Ridge High School product in the Pacific Northwest, a transfer from Oregon. I mean, that has to be a tough situation for him to be signed to a Pac-12 school and now have to take the backup job for Riverside, even though it's probably the most glamorous backup job in the country.
Yeah, and he's coming off an injury. I mean, he's maybe, Coach Kraft definitely has his confidence in both quarterbacks, but maybe holding them out for another week because they still have possible 2 games here.
Yeah. As the Tigers are looking at that update of Saddleback and College of the Canyons. Winner of this game battles the winner of that game. Rashad White, the UCLA commits. Flag is thrown. Popo may have yanked by the face mask. Rashad White so far today has 7 carries for 21 yards, a long of 6. That's his longest carry of the ball game.
Yeah,
he averaged 6.5 coming in this year.
Yeah, that's a face mask.
Personal foul, face mask, number 6 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run.
The way the penalty used to be, inadvertent face mask is 5 yards,
Yes.
and then a blatant is 15. Do you like how they made every face mask a 15-yard penalty?
You know, I do, for the simple fact is, you know, they're trying to limit the injuries on the field. And so I think if you make it a full-on penalty of 15 yards, you're going to get less calls.
Rashad White's smoked for a loss. He's stuffed yet again by a freshman who is playing an absolute, in a field day, an absolute career performance. Number 91, Alex Navarro Silva, a youngster from Chino, California, makes another stop. As he has recorded his 3rd tackle of the game, that for a loss of 2. Mounties at their own 40-yard line. With a reserve quarterback, the sophomore from Brea, 6'4", 185-pound Dylan Flanagan, number 16, takes the snap and fakes the handoff to Thompson, launches downfield to Schofield, incomplete. The coverage from Tiger cornerback Jalen Bowens.
Yeah, Jalen Bowens really got lucky on that one. I think got his hand or fingertips on the ball there, but he was darn near cooked.
Yeah. Jalen Bowens, a sophomore from Chattanooga, Tennessee, who played linebacker in high school. And he's now at that nickel cornerback position in college. 3rd and 12, the Mounties 0 for 4 on 3rd downs of the ballgame. As the Mount Sac offense is scoreless, it's the first time they have been scoreless in the first half all year. Flanagan settles for the safety valve. The pass is dropped as it bounces off the face mask of Trevon Reed. Mounties 0 for 5 on 3rd down today.
The one thing we haven't talked about too much tonight is the special teams of Riverside. Normally they're good for a score here and there. Been relatively quiet.
Right. Mounties bring out the punt group. Damian Garcia is that broadcaster's jinx. The punt, you know, part of the problem is that's the 3rd touchback kicked by Damian Garcia today.
Yeah, they don't want to get it in the hands of those.
Right, I think they talked to you before this game.
Yeah, they said, nope, don't kick to him.
Part of the problem is maybe one of the great receivers in California, Tyler Kennedy, has torn his ACL and is out for the season.
Yeah, that's a tough blow. I mean, I want to say this. I've seen a lot of high school, college football in this area for the last 48, almost 49 years of my life. And I'll say he is one of the most dynamic, athletic, fun, any superlative you could say. He is just one of those guys that you pay to watch. And he's going to have a long career, hopefully, after recovering from a knee injury.
Tyler Kennedy, a commit to Southern Mississippi. I didn't know I'd be watching games of Southern Miss next year in Conference USA. I guess now I'm going to have to.
Yes, you do.
I mean, how am I going to fit that in to I Love Riverside football games? I don't know.
I love hashtag. I don't know. See, I always thought that was a number sign.
Oh, Jeff. You are...
The old rotary phones.
No. You are hip with it. It's a 1st down pickup.
It's out to the 31-yard line. That's going to be 1st down.
Cameron Bosley involved there. As Jacob Barledge remains the quarterback. Not the time to bring the backup in, right?
Not right now.
Yep.
No.
Still anyone's game. It's 20-0 Tigers. Barledge loads up and throws. Crossing pattern to an open Dylan Lawrence. He cuts back at the 40. 45-50. Lawrence. He cuts back again. 30. 20. He makes a 4th Mountie miss. And the turf monster got him at the 15-yard line.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Wow, we were just talking about Tyler Kennedy. But that young man right there, wow, he's fantastic to watch.
Let's see how many times he missed the Mountie.
There's one.
Okay, there's one. That was Michael Johnson. There's two. There's Johnson again.
No tackle.
There's Brooks. And there's the turf.
No tackle on the play.
Yeah, who do you call that on?
Nobody. Like you said, the turf monster grabbed him.
Yeah. Dylan Laurent, his longest catch of the year, as the Tigers are in the red zone with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. And kudos to this crowd who have braved the chilly elements here from Riverside. Game update at the half between Canyons and Saddleback. Gauchos down by 11. And Saddleback, who came in 9-0, if I'm not mistaken, last week, they now are in danger of going from vying for the top team in the country category to being eliminated from the playoffs in the opener.
Man, that's crazy. Hey, did you enjoy the any halftime food or anything down there?
I did. I had, what was it? I think I have to tell you, I ate one of your hot dogs, and you know what? Those were amazing.
I'm telling you. In fact, I think we have video. There it is. Look at the dogs. Oh yeah, there we go. That was me earlier. I'm telling you, I have 2 more hot dogs in my pocket. I couldn't fit a hamburger in it. I thought about putting it in my back pocket, getting rid of my wallet, shoving a double cheeseburger in my back pocket. But man alive, come on down. Even if you don't like football, just come for the hot dogs and the burgers and all of the great.
And the band, the Marching Tigers.
Oh, yes.
Inside run to Bosley, who spins to the 12. Friendly fire there at the tail end of the play. The Mounties, Walker and Pickett. I mean, when we say that the Marching Tigers have the best band in California, I mean, we're not just saying that.
No.
I mean, they have been, RPA announcer mentioned, they've had some of their renditions on The Office show.
Have you ever seen The Office?
I have.
Okay, stop it. You have not.
I've been waiting for the vocab trivia.
Oh, man.
Barlage, play action. He has yet to be sacked today and fires into the end zone. Reggie Retzlaff. Touchdown, Tigers.
There's a flag on the play there, though.
Nope, go figure. The Warriors of El Camino avenging their tough start to the year as they began the season 0-2, but they've got a lead in their bowl game. Ventura, meanwhile, there on the bottom ticker. The Pirates, they stunned RCC in this building and went to the state championship game, did Ventura. And 1 year later, they have been eliminated from the playoffs, and they're trailing in their bowl game as well. Extra point is good as the flag was picked up. Riverside against the National Central Conference champions lead 27-0. Here's how they did it on the previous drive. Almost all of it by way of Dylan Lawrence once, Dylan Lawrence twice, Dylan Lawrence a third time, and here is the tackle. And the Tigers cap it off with a touchdown throw. Jacob Barlage, who has yet to be sacked in the ballgame, launches his second scoring toss of the ballgame, 25th of the season. And the Tigers have taken a 27-0 lead. Jacob Barlage, you mentioned just very briefly, he is not the type of dual threat Mike Irwin is. He didn't run for the touchdown, but that is something special in the pocket.
Well, you don't need to run if I'll tell you what, you throw a football, it's much faster than running, and he doesn't need to run because he's so savvy in the backfield. You know, he's smart. He'll get rid of it. He gets out of the tackle box. He's just one of those cerebral guys. He's the son of a coach, for gosh sake.
Right. So he was a 3-year starter at Valley View High School across the way in Moreno Valley, California. And Jacob Barlage, I mean, is Valley View competing for a national championship? No. But
he did play in a state championship his junior season,
though.
Oh,
he did.
He did.
But, Jacob Barlage, even with all the big numbers and being a 3-year starter, for some reason, coaches at big D1 schools didn't look at him as the type of player that he has proven tonight.
He has fallen through the cracks, and I'm sure he will be able to say, I told you so, by the time it's all said and done, when he finishes here at RCC, he's going to have himself, he'll be playing on Saturdays, he gets his education paid for, and his dad gets to continue to watch him play. His dad was the offensive line coach here.
Really?
Yeah, so that's it.
Here's Rashad White. It's his longest carry of the ball game as he gallops across the 40-yard line and is marked out of the 41. Impressive 17-yard scamper for the UCLA commit.
Yeah, when his dad, Dan, was the offensive line coach, Jacob used to come down and used to hang out with the offensive linemen.
Really?
And as a little kid, so it was kind of meant to be to play here at RCC.
Right. You know, Tom Kraft, of course, he recruits some amazing players, but the coaching staff is equally as impressive. A couple of years ago, the Tigers wide receiver coach was Azir Hakim. Let me say that again. Azir Hakim. He was the wide receiver of the greatest show on turf.
That's right.
Yeah. I must have pronounced that wrong a little bit, but you know, we're just going to let that slide. I appreciate you letting that slide.
You know, and then when Mike Churchill was the last football coach here, he had a guy on his staff named Leonard Russell. If you recall, he was the Rookie of the Year for the New England Patriots.
Yes.
Yeah, he was on the staff here.
Riverside guy.
Yeah. In fact, you and I think, saw him at the Aquinas Notre Dame game earlier this season.
That's right. Flanagan's pass intended for Schofield, that is ruled complete to the receiver out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Jonathan Schofield, who came in as just under a number 22 there. 51 catches for just under 1,000 yards, along with 5 touchdowns. Almost a non-factor tonight. And just to piggyback with our point of the players and the coaches that come here, J.C. Jackson is one of the starting cornerbacks for the New England Patriots. I mean,
that's right.
I mean, my goodness, is this just an incredible roster at Riverside. Flanagan's pass is short and centered for Schofield. Now, Bruce Irvin, I don't know if you remember that name. He was part of the Legion of Boom. He was a former Mountie of Mount San Antonio.
A Legion of Boom.
Well, the Tigers, they can't copyright that name, but tonight the Mounties, I think they've faced a Legion of Doom. RCC's blanked them. It's the longest they've been shut out all season. I mean, Mount San Antonio was a high-flying offense a year ago, and the Tigers have shut them down. 4th and 4, the Mounties have struggled throughout the game on 3rd down. Fair catch signaled and made by Sean Dorso. A transfer from Fresno State. He has made an impact on defense and special teams this year. He is a player that we talked about once on the big interception he had earlier, but he is quite the athlete.
Yeah, he is kind of taking the place of Tyler Kennedy on that super athlete, fun to watch list.
That's what the list is called?
Yes. Super athlete, fun to watch list.
Wow. You know, back in the day, Jeff, you were on that list.
I was.
Armstrong Johnson, the catch. The super fun athlete, crazy to name is Armstrong Johnson. All right, we're getting a little bored here.
No, Armstrong. That's a great first name, though. He's got 2 last names, though.
Yeah, he does.
You know what? You never trust somebody with 2 last names or somebody with 2 first names.
Whoever said that, I don't know who said that. What does that even mean? But then again, I can't really give you an example to contrast that argument. Dylan Lawrence, flag is thrown as he sweeps to the 31. I really don't have a counter to that, though.
No.
There's a penalty flag on the play.
Number 72.
Ooh, not Kevin Brown. Christopher Bradbury, sophomore from Rancho Cucamonga. He went to Etiwanda High School. Three of the 5 starting offensive linemen from last year returned for this season. Maybe at a four-year school, that's normal. But at a school like RCC, that is unprecedented.
Yes, it is.
And that offense has really flourished with that returning talent and experience on that offensive line. Number 25, Jalen Young, motions out in the backfield. Barlage threads the needle. And Sanders spins to the 28-yard line. I mean, the passing window for Jacob Barlage to fit that in, I mean, is, I don't even think more than, a hair could fit between that football. Wow, first down.
Threading the needle.
Maurice Lotovale has to be kicking himself how close he was, feeling the wind on the back of that football across his fingertips. 1st and 10 for RCC. Another incredible run as Kinslow has not played in the second half. Instead, Jalen Young, a freshman from Chandler, Arizona. And there's the big dive at the tail end of the play by Maurice Lotovale, a freshman from Samoa. RCC up 27-0 late in the third quarter, putting a beat down on the Mounties. The winner plays either Saddleback or College of the Canyons in the SCFA Championship next week. Barlage pass incomplete. Sanders had it knocked away by Colin Keanu of Mount San Antonio. Make sure to join us for the 27th Annual Festival of the Lights. That is November 29th to December 31st. No, that's a whole month? Festival of Lights?
Yes, of course.
Wow.
And I will be there next Friday night. I am so excited. It'll be 80,000 people downtown Riverside.
80,000.
Yeah.
Jeez. Jalen Young. Lotovale wrestles him down, then rips the ball out late, but he has already been whistled down by contact. No offense. I'm going to watch from the comfort of my couch.
You need to come down.
I do.
Get a date. Come on down and
All
watch
right,
some fireworks.
Now you're asking too much.
Okay. Then just come. Bring your dog.
Here's Barlage. Fires, and it was a good pass. Maybe just a smidge behind Armstrong Johnson out of Miramar, Florida.
Intended for number 9, Armstrong Johnson. It is incomplete.
Riverside up 27-0. 2 field goals from Ricardo Chavez, a Thomas Kinslow scoring run, and a 21-yard throw from Jacob Barlage to Isaiah Leaf. Then the scoring toss in the third quarter. That was to Leith again, if I'm not mistaken. Fair catch at the 20 by Schofield. Brian Wilson is on the sideline. Brian?
Jonathan Schofield. Going to be spotted at the 20-yard line. That's where the Mount Sac Mounties.
On Thomas Kinslow, you mentioned he hasn't been out here in the second half. Looks like they're holding him out for the rest of this game, but he doesn't seem to think it's too serious. He says, hopefully if RCC moves on to next week, which it looks like they will at this point, he'll be ready to go. Back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Huge injury update because, there are so many great running backs on this Tiger core. None better than Thomas Kinslow.
Tell you what, though, you've got, like you said, 7 other backs, though, that can step in and do a number.
Oy. Tigers defense swarms at the 17-yard line as Reed is dropped. So the Tigers with Thomas Kinslow, a 3-star prospect coming out of high school. He has been looked on from the moment he joins RCC and has just been a workhorse for the Tigers this season. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham on the sideline, Brian Wilson. I guess Brian could be a last name, you think?
Could. I don't trust him.
Trust that beard, though. My goodness, Brian.
He's got, it's kind of a cross between George and Michael and Kenny Loggins.
Those aren't that bad.
Yeah, let's.
Oh no!
Let's go over. You know, a couple years ago, Kenny Loggins was part of the Festival of Lights. He was one of the performers here, and
please, Mountie, score a touchdown on this play. Please do.
Go ahead. We'll get back to this.
Oh no, we won't. Rangel fires into traffic, intended for Schofield, knocked away.
All right, I have in my pocket a credit card that will take you anywhere you want to go eat for dinner if you can name one Kenny Loggins song within the next 5 seconds.
5 seconds. Whoa.
Okay. In the next 10 minutes, without Googling it, you got to just know. You don't know any Kenny Loggins songs? How about Loggins and Messina? You even know who Messina is?
No.
Okay, never mind. Let's go back to football.
I'll say. All right, 3rd and 17, late in the third quarter. This would be a huge conversion if the Mounties can get it, and they do not. That has been fitting tonight. Sean Bowden throws his helmet down in frustration. Luckily for him, he didn't throw it hard enough on the field where he cost the team 15 yards. I mean, that is the night in a nutshell for the Mounties.
Yeah, drop ball there. And like you said, I don't think the ref saw him take his helmet off.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem flagrant enough.
No.
But still, I mean, that is a perfect representation. I mean, the Mounties have had several good opportunities and have not been able to convert, largely on offense. Their defense has made RCC look less than their best. A return of about 5 yards and a cloud of dust for the transfer out of Fresno State, Sean Dorso. I will save our fans some time.
Nothing. No danger zone. You know, did you ever see Top Gun?
Oh, you know, you just Top Gun is actually.
You've never seen Top Gun?
It's an older movie. It's like the 80s, 90s. It's about, you know, there's airplanes in it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You know, I've heard about the sequel that's coming out.
Whatever. Get out of here.
Canyons may be the team Riverside plays next week. They lead 37-19 over Saddleback, as RCC looks to be the top gun in the SCFA. Barledge off play action. Guns the ball to Lawrence. And he is wrestled down. That's by Traquan Heath, a sophomore from Highland Springs, Virginia, after a 9-yard gain. The Tigers have just been flying up and down the field in this game.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Number 97 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Eucharize Brown for the Mounties.
I just like seeing Charlie Chastain umpire run. That's the best I've seen him run since he was a player at Norco years and years ago. If we can get a look at that guy, cameraman up there, the guy with the big U on his back, that's right over the football, the legendary Charlie Chastain.
Yeah. Minutes ago in the third quarter, this is the SCFA playoff opener between the Tigers and the Mounties here on Riverside TV's Game of the Week. Fresh off the game we had last night, where the Ramona Rams have advanced to play Esperanza next Saturday in the CIF Championship. Miscommunication from Barledge and Leith. Well, the Rams are moving on. It's the first time they've made it that far since 2003. The alum of Ramona, that being Jeff Gorham. Your thoughts?
No, I'm very excited. I'm excited. I tell you what, I have been talking to people all day long. They all were watching the game. We had over 4,000 people yesterday watching it just on YouTube.
That is insane.
I haven't checked the data today, or the data, whatever you want to call it.
On all the Twitter sphere, Dylan Lauren dances and takes a hard hit at the tail end of that play, but reaches the 15.
Number 3, Dylan Lauren. Official timeout.
Got a timeout on the play here.
Mount San Antonio 7-3 this year. They won the National Central Conference You know, next year they will transition to Hilmer Lodge Stadium. I don't know if you've seen that. The stadium looks like an NCAA stadium in Walnut. I mean, Hilmer Lodge. It looks really good.
They have not been playing in it?
No, they haven't. They had it finished for like 3 or 4 years. They just haven't played in it. They played at Covina District Field at a high school.
Oh, that's one of the greatest fields ever. I used to go watch games there as a kid. They have the Mount Sac Relays, which is the best track meet in the world. And I used to go watch that. I used to go watch the football games. What a outstanding place. Did they redo the stadium then?
I think they built something new. I'm going to have to double-check that for you. And I might Google a few more things.
Yeah, I want to know if that's a new stadium or they just refurbished it, because at the time it was one of the finest stadiums in Southern California. And what a great place to go watch a track meet. I saw Carl Lewis ran there. You don't even know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, Carl Lewis, Olympian. Oh, I know that. Oh, no. This may be serious here. Hilmer Lodge Stadium in Walnut. They're renovating the stadium which is just amazing. I mean,
yes.
Yeah, so they renovated that.
I've seen Reggie Wyatt, a Riverside La Sierra graduate. I saw Tyree Washington, another Riverside La Sierra graduate, run there.
He's great.
And, yeah, just what an amazing place to watch football track, and it's good to see that young man up. Looks like he might have hurt his lower back, possibly.
Oh, man. Trayshawn Pickett.
But it's good he's moving.
Similar to Riverside, he is one of quite a few out-of-state kids. Mounties with players from Texas, Missouri, Delaware, South Carolina, Kentucky, Washington, Georgia, Nevada, Oregon, Pennsylvania. I'll save you the time. From everywhere.
International players, though?
A couple from Samoa, but none from Australia. So the Tigers have them beat in that regard. Ha! Ah, that's right. You know, who knows? Maybe Tom Crafts is kind of quiet because he's learning the Australian language or Samoan language. Barlage loads up and throws and finds his man Retzlaff, who is spun down inside the 10. Malachi Harrison makes the stop.
Boy, Retzlaff, he seems to be he catches the ball every series.
Yeah, he's one of those favorites for Tom Kraft. It seems every year he's got one of those pristine, just perfect route runners. And Reggie Retzlaff is always open for a reason. Cameron Bosley is stopped by Eucharist Brown as the third quarters come to a close. Tigers lead 27-0 here over the Mount San Antonio Mounties. Tigers 15 minutes away from a trip, just one game away to the state championship. They'll reach the SCFA championship after the fourth quarter here from Wheelock Stadium in Riverside. You thought that Hilmer Lodge was an awesome site. Arthur and Wheelock Stadium, it's as renowned as it gets.
Oh, yeah, I remember coming. I was a ball boy here for RCC when I was a kid. And my best friend growing up, his grandfather was Nate DeFrancisco, who's probably, I'm going to say this, probably one of the first football coaches that ever was here at RCC.
Wow.
And so I used to come down, and I was the ball boy and spent many, many years when this was a real grass field. It was incredible.
Oh, really?
In fact, yeah, what happened is when they refurbished the stadium and put in turf, they moved the field about 15 yards to the left. The 50-yard line used to line up perfectly with the press box. Now it's a little off-centered.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a little.
It's a little off.
Yeah, a little. It's like 10 yards off.
Yes. But yes, it was that. The field has changed, but the bleachers are the exact same. In fact, when I was a kid here, let me see if they're still there. They used to have fiberglass bleachers. And if I wore shorts,
Really?
I'd get fiberglass stuck in my leg.
Oh, my goodness.
And I would itch all day long. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. Hopefully, I think they've changed that.
Yeah, no, I don't remember getting glass in my leg when I sat here at Wheelock Stadium. Timeout called out of the quarter break.
But see, you probably weren't wearing booty shorts, because back in the 80s, we always had these really small shorts, and Michael Jordan came out and he started wearing the big shorts.
Are you sure it was Michael Jordan in the 80s that made you wear those booty shorts there, Jeff?
No. He was the guy that changed it. I used to wear the OP shorts. See, the listeners of this game who are a little older are going to know exactly. I'd wear stubbies and OP shorts, which were corduroy shorts, and they were really small. And if you ran fast enough, you made a funny noise when you ran.
Really?
And if you ran really fast, which I wasn't really fast, you could catch your legs on fire because the corduroy would rub together so hard. It would start sparks.
Start sparks.
Yeah.
You sure it wasn't from the trails that you blazed?
No, I'm telling you, I was not that fast, but I did wear corduroy shorts, and that's what caused the fiberglass in the legs.
Cameron Bosley, the deep back on third down to start the fourth quarter. Bosley evades 2 tackles and is dropped at the 2-yard line. The Mounties, Aeneas Foreman, as Bosley should have been dropped at the 10. I mean, the Mounties had defensive linemen who were a step away from taking the handoff. Instead, RCC has first down and a goal to go at the 2. This is a run for Bosley. Brown hits him first, then Foreman finishes him off at the line of scrimmage. Bosley today, in the absence of Thomas Kinslow, hurt at halftime right before it. 13 carries, 37 yards. And the Mounties may have just used their final timeouts.
I believe the refs are calling
the refs may
for an injury on the field. Oh.
I mean, I know we got our Tiger glasses on right now and our Tiger booty shorts we're wearing here at Wheelock Stadium, but
only me.
Only you. I know. I was wondering. RCC looks like the best team in the country. I mean, I haven't seen number 2 Gulf Coast from Perkinson, Mississippi.
Give me some of those other names.
I haven't seen Lackawanna College from Pennsylvania. I haven't seen Jones from Mississippi or Hutchinson in Kansas, but this looks like the best team in the country.
Okay, there was a second one there. You read it was
Lackawanna College.
I thought it was Fozzie Bear. I thought you were saying Waka Waka, and I was like,
No.
No, the Tigers are the best team in the country. They have the best cheerleaders too. There's like 100,000 of them here on the track, and I'll tell you, I've had I was a cheer coach. I've said this many times.
Yes, you have.
And I had several of my cheerleaders.
By the way, that's Tavita Fuimaono from Norco High School getting escorted off. But you were a cheer coach. Every time you say that, I'm floored about what that is.
No, just know that I was coaching cheer. I was phenomenal.
Now, those were the golden years, were they?
I'm not that old. Golden years means I'm old.
Quarterback sneak for the signal caller, Jacob Barlage. And down he goes at about the 1. Barlage nearly lost his helmet. I mean, this was supposed to be a physical game. I think the coaches should have warned them, you should probably buckle your chin strap a little harder.
A lot of helmets being missing.
Yeah, this one, Barlage almost lost it, but the Tiger offensive lineman, Ryan Suifeo, from here in Riverside, he did lose his helmet. He's a product from Junipero Serra High School.
It's Junipero.
Oh, no.
Man. He was the guy that founded all the missions. Junipero Serra.
Oh, no.
As my wife would say, because I have Junipero Serra Road out where I live. My wife says Junipero.
Junipero. Just like I said, Jurupa Valley.
And my wife
did the officials call a touchdown there?
They did. I don't know. We got to hear the cannon here.
If the cannon isn't firing, there's a look at him. Yeah, I don't think they believe it's a touchdown. No.
I think it is.
That might be the first time in history.
I think he's asleep.
Because
there it goes.
There it is. All right. And, you know, those guys have ears of steel by this point. It hurts my ears, and I'm 50 yards away.
Yeah. They better have earplugs. Safety first.
That's Ricardo Chavez, the extra point. It's good. Safety's important. The Tigers put on some insurance to their already large lead as they march the length of the field. Jacob Barlage, he finishes the drive with a rushing touchdown, but the Tigers throughout that possession, they had picked apart that Mountie defense in the first half and showed more of it on the second half drive. Here's Bosley, who turned a 3-yard loss into a gain, and Jacob Barlage on what was 5th effort. Who knows what type of body blows were at the bottom of that pile. I mean, looking from the top of it, guys are scrapping and clawing. I mean, you were also a football guy, coach, right? You were a football coach too?
I coached football. Right now I'm coaching boys volleyball.
Oh my goodness. And you're a teacher. It's just like, Here we go, a good return for the Mounties. Jamie and Dendy.
34.
Oh, man.
You know, and I will say this has been a fun season
yes, it
to
has.
cover for Riverside TV. No, we don't give enough thanks to the guys that do all the work, the cameramen, the producers, the directors.
Yep.
Scott Brocious and his staff at Riverside TV, award-winning staff.
Yes.
As we won a couple more awards this year.
Well, what are those awards?
There's many.
Oh.
There's an Oscar and a Grammy in Scott Brocious' future.
To go along with his World Series MVP trophy case.
That's right.
As Rashad White gains a couple, does the sophomore from Kansas City, Missouri.
5 yards on the play. Bring up a 2nd and 5 for the Mounties.
Well, the the Mounties quarterbacks, Zach Rangel and Dylan Flanagan, they came in 2 of the top signal callers in the conference. So far, they are combined 8 for 21 with 3 interceptions and 0 touchdowns. 34-0 Riverside. Frangel back in at quarterback, the Texas product. Back at his own 27, launches downfield, tipped and intercepted. That's Sean Dorso again at the 48-yard line. A season for the record books for the Fresno State transfer. It's his 7th pick of this season.
And another tip to catch. The tip drill does well in those practices. He has been phenomenal tonight. Like you said, phenomenal all season long.
7 interceptions, 5 deflections, a forced fumble, a sack, 2 tackles for loss. Jeez. Oh, and I didn't mention his return touchdowns this year.
That's right.
The ball is actually marked at the 50 as the quarterbacks of Mount San Antonio combined for 4 interceptions today. That's a 2-yard run there. I mean, the Tiger defense gets 4 interceptions. I mean, they may beat some big D1 teams.
Yeah, I tell you.
If they're able to do that.
They could be UCLA, for gosh sakes. That was pretty mean. I should have said that.
Oh, man. You know, the Bruins, back in the day, they were quite the team.
That was a long, long time ago.
Handoff to Young. What's been going on recently with UC Riverside and what they've got going on in sports?
Well, Riverside, I called the game today as they battled Denver University, and
who's their head coach?
Chauncey Billups' brother.
Wow.
So, longtime player that played for the Detroit Pistons and the Los Angeles Clippers. They went away with a 27-point win today at home.
You can
David
catch
Patrick.
coverage of UC Riverside basketball on Riverside TV. Barlage drops and fires towards the end zone. That may be the only time in the game that he has missed a receiver. I mean, it was either he catches it or nobody does, as wide receiver Rolandus Whitener. If the Tigers' offense is their usual greatness on third down, they're 4 of 14 on third down today, 0 for 4 in the second half on third down, then this game would be even worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're on pace here to have at least 2 receivers for RCC with 100 yards tonight. We had 4 against Orange Coast. 4
Yeah,
receivers.
that is, the box score of that game is obnoxious. What was it like watching that?
It was
76-3.
It was very long, to say the least.
Okay, yeah.
I called a high school football game back in the day. It was 108-20. It kind of reminded me of that.
Really?
And I called a Harupa Valley Bloomington game, and it was 108-20.
Man. Jonathan Schofield, the fair catch at the 9-yard line.
Fair caught there by number 22, Jonathan Schofield. Maybe marked at the 8-yard line. That's where the Mount San
All right, Mount San Antonio back to work. Bob Jastrab, the head coach of Mount Sac, a former All-American defensive end with the Mounties as a player, and a former associate at UNLV. Tom Kraft, former head coach at San Diego State. 2 great FBS programs.
Same conference, Mountain West.
Yeah, Mountain West. Jonathan Schofield, the wide receiver, is hammered by Jalen Bowens of the Tigers. There's a look at that cornerback playing a little linebacker.
On the tackle, number 8, Colin Moore.
Pay announcer says Jamon Moore, number 8, was on the tackle. I do not think that was number 8 on the tackle.
I was worried about that young man that caught the ball, for gosh sakes.
Right.
It looks like his skin was on part of the field and his skeleton was in the other.
And, of course, that's the one time a helmet does not come off.
No.
Second down and 6. We've got whistles. Now, this is the game we anticipated. We got a pause in the action, partner.
Delay of game.
Delay of game.
11, offense. 5-yard penalty.
Let's take a look at some of the numbers for this football game tonight. The Tigers with 302 yards more than the Mounties in this football game. Passing yards in favor of RCC, 322 to 85. I mean, what a performance we have seen. First downs, RCC 25, Mounties 10. Swing route underthrown and intended for Rashad White. Intercepted by the Tigers. Picked off by the linebacker Nathan Perez. It's his first pick of the year. In fact, he didn't play much at all this season.
And everybody right now on the sidelines is attacking him. They held him up.
Ball is spotted at the 33-yard line. That's where the Riverside City College Tigers will take
Yeah, great play, though. Gotta love seeing the team back and support their players.
Yeah, 8 of 23 passing for these Mounties quarterbacks with 5 interceptions. They came in with 11 all year, so the Tigers' defense has had a field day against Mount San Antonio. Barlage, hands, sweeping outside Bosley, stumbles to the 30, and is tagged down to the 25-yard line. The middle backer Connor Helsius makes the open field tackle for Mount San Antonio. Gain of 8.
Cameron Bosley. Official timeout on the field.
Timeout with 9:48 to play in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, a lot of injury timeouts here in the fourth quarter, a lot of cramps. It was kind of warm today.
Yeah, believe it or not. So, you know, Tom Kraft, this is a man, head coach of the Tigers. When people ask him how he does it, he makes sure the first thing that he says, his job is incredibly difficult. What does that mean?
He says that?
Yeah, I mean, when he says something, you better listen.
Of course.
He doesn't say much. And you talked with Kobe Fitzgerald, and he said, yeah, I mean, whatever. He talks a little more than you think, but, you know,
It's
when
all
you
business.
Right. When you talk, it's you better listen. But hard job. Are you buying that?
Yeah, I really. I mean, when you win at an 85% clip, which he will accomplish tonight,
100th win.
Yeah, I mean that, and losing 15. I mean, that just tells you it is hard work. You can't be successful for that long if you don't work that hard. And it's obvious. They're all over the world recruiting. They're all over the nation, and he's just one of those guys that probably lives, breathes, and eats football.
Yep. Oh, for sure. So Canyons leads in the third quarter 44-19. So College of the Canyons appears to be who RCC will play here a week from tonight at 6 p.m. for the SCFA Championship. The card is out, and you never want to see that. I mean, Saddleback looked like a very good club. Tigers beat them up pretty good last week. Canyons is set to beat them up pretty good this week. So that sets up a pretty good matchup that we are set to have a week from tonight.
As the big man is carried off the field.
Carried.
Yeah, I mean.
Right. That's Eucharize Brown of Mount San Antonio. 6 foot 280.
Oh, that's a workout carrying him off the field.
Yeah, good job, guys. I mean, there was a cart right there, right?
Yeah, but he declined it. He said, I want my
Right.
guys carrying me, my dudes.
Canyons 44, Saddleback 19. Cerritos up over Ventura. The Pirates won the SCFA last year. San Bernardino Valley dealt a tough one against Chaffee right now. Long Beach up 4. So here we go. Tigers a chance to close this one out. Go figure, the Mounties, conference champions of the Natural Central League, outright for the first time in 7 years, and RCC has thumped them in the playoffs. Second down and short, Bosley. Aeneas Foreman, the tackle. Jacob Barledge, quarterback today of RCC. He has stayed there throughout. 27 of 39, 322 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
First down.
On the run, number 28. First down, Tigers.
Total offense 503 to 147.
With that Barley passing yard.
Let's see here. Barley
First and 10.
7 to 40, 322. He's got all of it.
There you go, Brady. Get out of the way. Alignment.
Jalen Young on the carry for RCC. And the freshman from Chandler, Arizona, gains a couple. College of the Canyons this year is 8-2. They lost the opener to Saddleback 45 to 20. And they have beaten up the Gauchos even worse this go around. They have won throughout. Their lone other loss came against Long Beach 32 to 24. Long Beach proved to be a pretty good team. We saw here RCC needed a late comeback to preserve their unbeaten streak.
Yeah, that could be a good game. In fact, I thought Long Beach was going to take care of business here, but the Tigers came and took care of business.
Touchdown Tigers, Jalen Young. It's his first career touchdown for RCC.
Number 25, Jalen Young with the Tiger touchdown.
They've done it in the air. They've done it on the ground. They have done it everywhere except for special teams. They have not scored off special teams tonight.
Oh, man, we are so spoiled as RCC fans. They're only up 41 to nothing. Well,
now they are. Bam.
It's good. So here's a look at the drive. And it started with the first interception of the career for freshman Nathan Perez. The Tigers out of short field, they went ground the entire possession and converted with points. Not with Kinslow, but with Cameron Bosley to start the possession. Then the freshman out of Chandler, Arizona, finishes it off, Jalen Young. And the Tigers have taken a commanding lead, 41-0, with under 8 minutes to go in the game. So the Tigers are set to face off against College of the Canyons. That offense, statistically better than the Mounties offense. Now, I mean, you hope the Tigers don't shut out the next opponent, but Canyons are scoring 38 a game coming in, and they have over 40 against Saddleback. Blistering speed on this return for the Mounties. Brought back by Marcus Brown. For whatever it's worth, Canyons has a better offense than what we saw tonight from the Mounties.
Yeah, you don't come in and throw 4 picks. Is that what it was? 4?
5.
5. And they threw 11 on the year? Yeah, this.
Yeah, Canyons 51-19. I mean, there is such a thing as momentum in football.
I'll tell you what, Saddleback, though, I think RCC just crushed him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because the Gauchos, yes, they were 9-0 before RCC trampled them, and then Canyons even worse. Flanagan's pass is incomplete, intended for Jamil Weaver. Brian Wilson is on the sideline. What do you have for us?
Hey guys, just a little update here on the sidelines. I just saw both backup quarterbacks, Tyler Thomas and Mike Irwin, warming up. So it looks like they might be pulling Jacob Arledge for the night as this game starts to wind down. Watch out for the backup to come in here in the next offensive series. Nick, Jeff, back to you guys.
Brian Wilson, thank you so much. Flag is thrown. I mean, Brian Wilson is just at the thick of things and always knows what's going on with RCC.
And you know what? You know who else knows a lot about RCC? His beard.
Is there something you want to say about that?
Yeah. November.
November.
15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Personal foul here.
And now it appears RCC has got a majority of reserves into the game. I mean, that shutout that they want on their ledger, that means quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, especially in a semifinal of the Southern California Championship.
Mounties go ground. Mount San Antonio in that third quarter ran the ball 21 times for a mere 53 yards. They've gotten a little more momentum brewing in the fourth quarter of this football game.
We had 25 first downs to
10.
Wow.
And that's not the fourth quarter numbers. RCC has yet to shut out an opponent this year, but they beat Orange Coast 76-3. When did the Pirates score that field goal? As here's the quarterback who's just carrying Tigers towards the end zone. He's dragged down to the 5.
He scored it, I think it was late in the game, if I recall.
Yeah, that's got to be crushing. Oh, no, second quarter.
Second quarter, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Man, look at that quarterback just dragging everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's like dragging you don't want to say they're tigers on that one. He was dragging a litter of kittens.
That's pretty cruel to drag some kittens there.
Yeah, he drug a bunch of kittens.
Dylan Flanagan, the quarterback, number 16. Bootleg as he's rushed by Washington, and his pass is incomplete.
Biggest pass is incomplete, out of bounds. That'll bring up a second down.
So the Tigers are set to even this series between the Mounties and Riverside. Tom Kraft beats just about everybody, doesn't he? But he is, with this win, just 5-5 against the Mounties.
Doesn't matter.
For some reason, he struggled against this one team.
So he's lost 5 times, at RCC.
He's lost 5 times at RCC against the Mounties.
So a third of his losses have been
to
against
one team.
That's
yeah. Flanagan throws behind his body. It's underthrown and nearly picked off. Intended for Malachi Thompson. And it's knocked away by the Tigers. Good defense there in the end zone by number 30, the sophomore from Australia, Ben Karkari.
Now, have you seen? Do you ever watch Australian rules football?
No.
You've got soccer, which is football. You've got American football and Australian rules football. You've never watched it?
No.
Come on.
What's the difference between that and rugby?
A lot.
A lot, huh? Flanagan throws into traffic. Incomplete. Trenton Finley, the intended target. I mean,
that will be your next. That'll be. I gave you the assignment to go watch Tombstone.
Tombstone.
Okay. Now this is your next assignment. I want you to go home. I want you to look up on your little phone, because that's what everybody does nowadays, and watch Australian rules football. It's pretty darn fun to watch.
Interesting. Okay.
And
it's not going to be as awesome as Tombstone.
No, because I'm your Huckleberry, Nick Rice.
That's right. And whenever there's a problem, you can solve it by
gunfire.
That's right.
OK Corral, my friend. OK Corral.
OK Corral. I was surprised just how violent that movie was.
It's not a Disney movie. It's a historical reference.
You're right.
Yeah. Val Kilmer was a great Doc Holliday, and I want to in my thoughts, I want to think Doc Holliday is Val Kilmer, and I want to think that who's the guy? Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, yeah,
is Wyatt Earp.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Earp Stadium in Riverside at Norte Vista High School. We had to teach you this. Is named after Wyatt Earp's grandson, great grandson.
I'm waiting for the guys in the truck to quiz me on something, though.
No, they're going to pull out. We're going to go.
They just don't have the patience anymore. No, the first half of the season they were.
Wait, I did hear something from the truck.
No, you didn't.
I did. I couldn't make it out, but. Yeah. Okay, what was the best 80s Kurt Russell movie ever made? I already know what it is, too.
Dang it, because it's not Tombstone.
You even know who Kurt Russell is?
Well, yeah, obviously because of the movie, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to say the best 80s, I'm going to have to say, is Escape from New York or Big Trouble in Little China. Snake Plissken. And Jack Burton was the characters' names.
4th and goal. Can RCC shut them out here at home? Flanagan looks to his left and guns the ball into traffic. That didn't stand much of a chance. Knocked away by Terry Victor, a transfer from Washington State. A 3-star linebacker knocks it away, and the Tigers may have just closed the Mounties with a shutout. We'll see how they fare down the stretch of this game.
I love talking old school trivia with old Nick Rice.
No better guy to discuss this old movie stuff than with me. Okay?
It's just those of you that are watching at home or listening, just know this. Nick Rice is wonderful with football, basketball stats, everything, but absolutely a buffoon when it comes to pop culture.
Old no pun. You are firing off, okay?
You've never seen an
Mr.
Avengers
Kurt.
movie. Come on.
Tyler Thomas is in at quarterback. Oh, man. I know what you're talking about with Tyler Thomas.
No, he's the most. I tell you.
Jeez.
Wait till you haven't yet to see him play. I've seen him play a couple of times. He is waiting in the wings.
10.5 yards a carry for Tyler Thomas.
He's like an understudy on a Broadway play. Look at that.
Jeez.
He's
he's like a gazelle out there. Every stride is like 10 yards.
That's a pretty good reference.
All right,
Good job there, young Nick Rice.
It's sad because, whenever I know a reference, it has something to do with football. It really is. My parents always said, dude, get out of the freaking house, bro.
I just want to know what you were doing. I mean, how do you not watch? Did you watch cartoons growing up? Did you?
I did. Yep.
Right.
Yeah. It was,
okay, here we go. Favorite cartoon of Nick Rice of all time?
When I was way younger, it was Blue's Clues.
I was going to have to say that we were going to use your vocabulary. We were going to have to look up some Blue's Clues, but no, give me a good.
Yeah,
cartoon.
they would call me
Good
that.
cartoon.
Who's that guy? The Blue's Clues guy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm 49 almost. I'm 49 next week. I wouldn't know. I do have children that don't watch Blue's Clues. Steve.
All right, that
There
guy.
we go.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, some people will call me that, and I'm like, come on, get your eyes checked. But well, there's something there. And then when I was older, it was what was it? I mean, SpongeBob for sure.
SpongeBob's one of my favorite shows now.
Really?
Yeah, there's a great show on Nickelodeon right now. I think it's Nickelodeon. It's called The Adventures of Kid Danger. Oh, that's the best show.
Oh, I
of
think
all
I've
time.
heard of that.
That's
Yeah.
the best show ever.
Tyler Thomas, the best show ever in Riverside. Whoa, the quarterback is off and running. 40, 30, 20. And he is taken down at the 11 by Malachi Harrison. He's the best show in the city of Riverside tonight.
I just told you this. I said this going in. He is the third-string quarterback, but waiting in the wings, the understudy, just might get a start and roll on Broadway as he looks like he's running down Broadway. Nobody can stop him. Then all of a sudden, see, he just wasn't used to running that far.
I mean, that is the longest run for him of the year.
He has more rushing
Maybe the
yards.
longest run by anybody on the Tiger roster this year. He's 77 yards.
Pretty impressive.
Right. That was Sean Dorseau type running. Thomas, I mean, that didn't stand much of a chance. Tyrone Taleni, freshman from Samoa, on the tackle. Yeah, you know, SpongeBob and Jimmy Neutron.
You kind of have Jimmy Neutron hair.
Yeah, it's
You
a
have tall
little, it's
hair.
a little crazy.
Yeah.
Fairly godparents, right? Odd
You're-
parents.
You are
godparents?
definitely young. You are a young
little guy. That's right.
Yeah. You can be
My
hanging
my
out,
conversations are about how cartoons isn't as good anymore.
yeah,
You know.
You can hang out with my 13-year-old son. You guys can be pals. You guys can be
Sadly enough,
contemporaries.
Don Bluth.
You don't know who Don Bluth
All right,
is.
here's Tyler Thomas. I know who that guy is. Touchdown, Tigers. 14 yards for the freshman from Jefferson High School in Tampa, Florida. He started 1 year in high school. He's what you call a late bloomer. And blooming is he ever. He's wearing the same number Tyrone Marshall wore last year. He's now a Bobcat of Montana State. Thomas, his second touchdown run of the year. Do we have a quarterback controversy next week?
No.
Of course not. But the extra point is good. The
But
look on your face.
We do have a controversy in the future, though.
Yes, we do. All right, here's Tyler Thomas.
And there's the future right there.
He had 3 runs. We didn't show the first one because it was only 5. This one was 77. Then the last was 14. Harrison just delayed the inevitable for RCC. And with 3:44 to go in the fourth quarter of this game, Riverside in the SCFA playoffs leads Mount San Antonio 48-0. And it's kind of like when you just get beaten and harassed by your older brother, constantly getting constantly just getting the living snot beaten out of you, and then you get a chance as the higher seed at home to play the Mounties, and it seems they almost got a little frustration out on this team.
So, Nick, do you have an older brother?
I do. You know, he was so cruel. He would have a younger brother too. He would take me and my younger brother into the closet. Or no. He'd take a wagon. I mean, he would do that too. He'd take me into a wagon, take me into the garage, and then he would turn the lights off late at night and close all the doors.
Okay, I do have a therapist. I can give you his number.
It might explain some of your weird behavior outside of this game.
I'm a little concerned for you, Nick.
He told me yesterday to get out of the house.
Yeah, well, you obviously couldn't leave the garage. Your brother was locking you in there in a wagon.
But RCC finally got their chance for revenge, and they took advantage. Thompson stopped after a 1-yard gain, and on that note, I'll probably switch the subject.
Okay, no, let's go back to Don Bluth. Do you know who Don Bluth is?
Bluth.
Come on, he was a great American animator. He did like American Tail, The Secret of Nim. Oh, see, you don't even know what I'm talking about. It's a different language to you.
It's a different language. What is this, the UN?
Did you watch the Nerf or the Smurfs when you were a kid? Do you remember the Smurfs?
I actually did not. No, Flanagan's incomplete.
Do you know what a Smurf is?
Kind of, yeah.
The little blue guys.
The cartoons, yeah.
Yeah, the blue. They're not real, of course.
Smurf and Smurfette?
Yeah, Smurfette.
Yeah.
We got it. We have more from the truck, I hope.
Yeah, truck's having a field day.
Bartok, I think, was another movie.
Third down and 8 for Mount San Antonio. Mounties have yet to move the chains on third down today. Flanagan dumps it short, and they got it. That's Thompson. He breaks a tackle. A mouthpiece comes off, and he's down to the 22 is Malachi Thompson.
First down, Mounties.
A great pass there, and like you said, was that the first third down conversion?
I mean, but yeah, the first of the game. Until that conversion, they were 0 for 7. So, I mean, come on, you had to have had a brother that picked on you a little bit, right?
He was older than me, but I was tougher than him.
That's right. Flanagan launches, incomplete.
Yeah, I don't remember getting locked in my garage or closet in a.
The Mounties quarterbacks 9 for 30 with 5 interceptions, and then total offense Tigers 615, Mount San Antonio 213, in 600 yards. That's another day in the office for RCC.
Hey, wait a sec here. What were the percent? What completion? They had 9 completions.
9 for 30 or 31.
And
9 for 31
and
with 5
interceptions. But that puts them at 14 completions. Guys up here in the booth going over the stats with us.
That is cruel. In cut. The pass is caught. Christian Edgerson, freshman from Twinsburg, California.
They're 5 for 5 throwing to RCC.
Yeah. It's a pretty good ratio. Very good ratio. Tackled by Tyler Kinslow, the brother of Thomas. Tyler Kinslow.
Oh, yeah, another fine movie. Here's one for you. Have you ever seen The Dark Crystal? Okay, that's on. Yeah, they have a brand new series on Netflix, which I think you need to go home and after more homework for you.
You know, the one show that I do watch is this corny show. I mean, it's so weird that I think you would probably not be shocked at all that I would watch it. This Is Us.
Wait, come on.
What?
You know what?
That's a popular show, though.
Honestly, you need to take off your headphones and then walk out of the stadium and never come back to a football game as long as you live.
Never.
No, you just lost all street cred, all football cred. Everybody watching right now is saying,
This Is Us. What the heck? What is this guy?
What do you do? Just sit around and cry all day? I'm concerned about you. Like I said, I have a good therapist for you. You know what? You can't come into a football game and tell people that you watch This Is Us. I mean, if you want a good cry, if you're sensitive, I got a big shoulder you can cry on.
It's a little too big, man.
Oh, man. If you just need a hug, I'll hug you. Who wants to watch that sap?
Hey, man, for once I show you I have some interest. Here's Malachi Thompson.
Did you see the note? Are you a fan of The Notebook?
People call me The Notebook, man. You called me that earlier this year.
Oh, man. You look like you're in a boy band.
Yeah.
Now I know you watch This Is Us.
You called me Nick Jonas. You know?
Jeez. You kind of have a Lance Bass look to you.
Lance Bass. Oh, jeez. Another guy I don't know.
How do you not know who Lance Bass is?
Please tell me that
he's part of NSYNC.
Oh, okay. I know that.
He's got.
Almost picked by Kinslow.
He's got blonde, funny hair like you.
Funny looking hair, huh?
Yeah, great hair. Do you use like mousse and dip or gel?
No,
or
I use nothing.
Yeah, you do. Stop. Do you blow dry it straight up like that? Is that what it is?
We'll try it straight up. Oh, man. I just.
Sorry, Nick. I had to give it to you. So it possibly could be I'm not sure if we're going to have the game next week, so I got to get them all out of it.
Yeah, what are we going to do? Football is coming to a close. I don't know, maybe have a life, actually. That's probably a good time for football then. Flanagan is hit as he throws on 4th down, and he finds Schofield. Kinslow, the tackle at the 5-yard line. Let's see if...
Well, you'll have plenty of time to catch up on This Is Us.
For the Mounties, this is us for sure tonight. But let's see if they can find the end zone. Here we go. They're out of timeouts. 1st and goal from the 5. Dylan Flanagan, part of a quarterback core that has struggled throughout the ball game. He unloads to an open Schofield, but out of bounds. That leaves them 14 seconds. Woo! 14 seconds left in this game, Jeff. I mean, it's not 11:30.
No, this has been the greatest JC football game in the history of the world. Guys in the truck get to see their families.
Yes. I mean, you still don't, but,
No, I don't. I'm sure I have a game somewhere I have to call right after this one.
That's right. A little midnight extravaganza. 2nd down and goal. Thompson is the running back. Flanagan fires a slant, knocked away by Terry Victor with 10 seconds to go. Man, this, for a 48-0 blowout, is a pretty dramatic finish of the game.
Riverside wants to get a shutout.
First of the year. Let's see if they can do it. 3rd and goal from the 5. The quarterbacks of the Mounties are 11 for 37 today. And Flanagan throws a slant. It's dropped by Schofield. They're down to their final bullet. 7 seconds left. It's 4th and goal.
And if you're Mount Sac, you're not going to go for a field goal. You don't want to settle that. They're going to try to score out of this.
Mounties 2 for 12 on 3rd down. Flanagan 5 for 22 in pass completions. He's trying to find the end zone. Is the tall 6'4", 185-pound quarterback out of Brea, California. He has moved the Mounties this far as the crowd, kudos to them. It's 48-0, and they have stayed in the game. Possibly the final play of the Mountie season. Flanagan looks, pumps, throws, end zone, incomplete. Intended for Christian Edgerson. And RCC is going to shut out the Mounties. This game is over.
The final score, your Riverside City Mountie Tigers, 48. The Mount Sac Mounties, no score. Let's give both these teams a well-deserved end. All the way from the Pomona area.
A big-time game for Riverside as they go to the Southern California Football Association Championship. I knew it the whole time. I had to mess with you, though.
No,
but a great win and a great defensive effort. Yes, I said it. Defensive effort when you put up 48 points but give up none by the Tigers.
Well, Brian Wilson, our great sideline reporter, in a few minutes is going to catch up with some of the MVPs of tonight's game. So, until then, the RCC Tigers trounced the Mounties 48-0. Here's how it got started. Thomas Kinslow, first play of the game. It's a gain of 24. And he finishes off the drive. He started the freshman from Centennial High School in Corona. He would finish the game with 13 carries for 98 yards and a touchdown all in the first half. He would be spelled due to injury for the remainder of this contest. Here's a look at some of the reserve running backs for the Tigers as Jalen Young and Cameron Bosley would both find the end zone throughout this football game. The Tigers here against Mount San Antonio accounted for 615 yards of offense. The defense also forced 5 interceptions for the Mounties. Zach Rangel and Dylan Flanagan. At this moment of the game, RCC took over and they led 10-0. This was a bit of a 2-minute drill, and the Tigers get a big play out of Dylan Lawrence. He stepped out of bounds near the 45-yard line. Reggie Retzlaff, number 89, he had 6 catches for 38 yards and a touchdown for RCC, and Barlage found just about everybody in this game. A magnificent performance for the RCC quarterback in Jacob Barlage. After this hookup to freshman Giovanni Sanders, he finds the Hawaii transfer. That is Isaiah Leaf. The touchdown gives the Tigers a 17-0 lead. RCC ends the half with a field goal from Ricardo Chavez. They lead 20-0. In the third quarter, the Tigers picked up where they left off. Here's Giovanni Sanders. And then RCC, this is the throw to Dylan Lawrence. And boy, did he make a couple of Mounties look foolish on this play. Dylan Lawrence, what a run. He had 124 yards on 9 catches. The Turf Monster prevented him from scoring a touchdown in this game. But on the receiving end of Barlage is Reggie Retzlaff, the other former Husky of Centennial High School. Jacob Barlage, his performance was yet another day in the office. He also scrambles across the end zone here. Barlage, 27 of 40, 322 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That scoring run made it 34-0. In the fourth quarter, the Tigers defense did it again. This is an interception from Nathan Perez. Tigers respond with a Jalen Young touchdown. And this, of course, an important game because RCC is going to advance to the SCFA Championship next week here to battle College of the Canyons. Tyler Thomas got the last laugh here as he scrambles for 77 yards and caps it off with a 14-yard touchdown run himself. RCC victorious in this football game, 48-0. Some of the players of this game are just about set to join Brian Wilson. Do we have that now? Not quite yet, so we're going to wait a little longer. Those were the highlights. I'm a bit out of breath. What a football game tonight, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you look at the passing yardage, Jacob Barlage, 27 of 40, 322 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a long of 53. He's had 4 receivers. Reggie Retzlaff, 6 receptions for 38 yards and a touchdown. Dylan Lariant with 124 yards, and Sanders with 94, and Whitener with 32. So he threw it to a lot of different guys, and the rushing totals a lot the same. Kinslow with 98 yards, Thomas with 95, Mosley with 54, and Jalen Young with 46 yards. Just a dominant performance by the Tigers. 322 passing yards to go along with, let's see, the rushing yards is 293, a total of 615 total yards. A phenomenal effort by the Tigers.
And a game that took 2 hours and 55 minutes. That's the most important number of the night.
Yeah, quick game, took care of business, and now they have to turn their attention to a new opponent, somebody they haven't seen in College of the Canyons.
Yes, that will be a week from tonight. So Tom Kraft wins his 100th game as head coach of RCC. He's 115, and his success has been duly noted. The Tigers, they have 10 years under Kraft. They have made it to the Southern California Championship game 6 of the 10 times.
That's an incredible stat right there.
Unfortunately, though, not to cut you off, they've lost every time they've reached this far.
Except this year.
Except for this year. Were you, sorry, I cut you off there.
That's okay. I was just looking down the field to see if our guy, Brian Wilson, is ready for an interview as he's trying to.
Yes, he told me he had talked to Thomas Kinslow and Sean Dorso potentially, because there will be an award handed out. The Tigers are on their way to the SCFA Championship. This was also a bowl game today, quote unquote, to go along with the playoff game. And for those in the truck, do we have a final score of that Canyons Saddleback game? But until then, of course, Canyons well on their way to a win over the Gauchos. 2 blowouts setting up for the SCFA Championship. RCC coming next week 11-0, Canyons at 9-2. Brian Wilson is ready on the sideline. He is caught up with some of the Tigers as RCC is victorious tonight, 48-0. Brian.
And now for the award.
So we're here with for Thomas Kinslow, who was instrumental in getting this running game going both last week and tonight. Was there an emphasis on it? What do you see at the line? How has this rushing offense evolved as the year's gone on?
You know, just this year coming out, just the team was just attacking it differently. You know, we took up the different schemes and everything, just giving praise to the O-line, just coming out and doing everything that they could to just give us those yards and the extra yards. You know, Coach Kraft is always telling us that we need to get the hard yards first and then the touchdowns will come. So I just want to give thanks to the O-line and just thanks to God for letting this happen right now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Then next we have Sean Dorseau. Sean, great night for the defense, intercepting 5 passes. You led it with 2. Was there an emphasis during practice this week on turning the ball over, or what was the message this week in practice?
We knew that they had some guys that can go, so it was all about having tight coverage, and that's what we did tonight. You see the result, we got 5 interceptions.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Guys, back to you.
All right, well, during that interview, just how weird that is, Sean Dorseau was the listed MVP. Would he be your MVP?
Oh, he was phenomenal. He 2 interceptions and just was a playmaker on both ends. Just a superstar tonight.
Tigers win it in all 3 phases. Riverside is moving on to battle College of the Canyons in the SCFA Championship next week. There are the Tigers victorious tonight. They are 11-0. Kraft won his 100th game as RCC head coach. For all the excellent folks that make all these games possible on the truck all season long, along with Brian Wilson on the sideline and Jeff Gorham next to me, I'm going home and I'm watching some of the cartoons that you guys know and love. Until then, RCC a winner tonight, 48-0. Nick Rice signing off. This has been another presentation of the Riverside TV Game of the Week.